Earlier today, his buddy Ray peed on him and called it an October surprise. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. A Tuesday, get on. Mandate, get on. Welcome back, comedian Ryan Long. Always good to talk to him.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Mayhem Miller in studio as well. Friend of the show as well. New special, Problem Solved. That's Ryan's stand-up special. It's available on YouTube as we speak. Humming along at 400K worth of views and climbing right toward 1 million. So it's good to see you, my friend.
Woo! Yes, thank you for having me back. I'm about to hit the road for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's not a real job.
Yeah, but no, I did Adam's shows when he came to New York. We did the theater show, then I did the stand show.
Yeah.
Super fun. Your crowds are awesome.
Thanking you. All right, stuff.
And the only show that respects a good punk ska intro. Mm-hmm. Maybe in Fidance.
Oh, that's right. You were in a Canadian ska band.
Sick.
That's right. Yeah. I like ska, but I really hate reggae. But reggae I don't like because it all sort of sounds the same. And then also, here's my argument with reggae. Mm-hmm. And ska, of course, I love some Boss Tone songs and some special songs and some of those, ska bands of that era and before, really. But and one of the best ska pop new wave songs is called "Belly of the Whale."
Don't know that one.
It's before your time. But Emmy can look it up.
Have you
don't
seen
know
those
Belly
two?
of the Whale.
I was watching because of old British ska guys, because of these rappers, and it's interesting because in Britain it was like the black reggae guys and the white punk guys came together, and it was interesting once it got to America.
Ska came.
But America always takes it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And it's almost like things last longer there, whereas when things come to America, it's like here. It's the biggest thing in the world. Everyone hates it. It's like a 4-year window where what's this here? Like we hate it because it's been shoved down our throats so much.
I was just revisiting this 1983 Burning Sensations song called "Belly of the Whale," which is a reggae ska-esque type new wave pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Pop, ska, reggae. Anyway, remind me of that song from my
Boys
youth.
influence, everything.
The reason I don't like reggae music is if you're selling a genre, every time I argue with someone that I don't like reggae, they go, yeah, but when you're in Tahiti and you're standing on the beach and you got a Mai Tai in your hand, it's like you can't sell. Like, when you're getting blown.
I
listened to Paul Abdul while I was getting blown and enjoy Paul Abdul for that. If you guys start mixing in being on a Tahitian beach with my best girl, drinking a rum drink, forget that. It's just,
when they say strip club music, you're like, any music's fine.
Right.
You have a bunch of tits out.
It's all good. Yeah. So I went and saw the Eagles, and as it turns out,
best-selling band of all time.
Hell has frozen over because I never liked the Eagles. I never wanted to see the Eagles.
And you got the lighter up?
I was forced to see the Eagles. And at the Sphere, which is
Sphere is cool.
It's really cool. Have you seen it? Have you been in?
I was just in Vegas.
What'd you see?
Well, I didn't go to the Sphere. I drove by the Sphere.
Okay. Well,
I saw it. I didn't see it from the inside. I saw it from the outside.
Well, wait till you go
you can't not see it.
inside.
It's the whole city's like built around it now.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool, and it's worth it just to sit in there and stare at the walls. And the Eagles played, and I always try to make a distinction between shitty bands and then songs I don't particularly appreciate or like or care for, but not bad bands. Mm-hmm. You see, there's a difference, So Paula Abdul is talentless and has no musical ability at all. She can't do anything. That's why she doesn't do anything. It's a sort of, I feel that way I mean, there's a stand-up version of that. You know what I mean? Like Jerry Seinfeld does stand-up because he's good at stand-up. And if you want to know where Jerry Seinfeld's going to be this weekend, it'll be somewhere doing stand-up. And so will Jay Leno, because that's what they do.
That's at the core of their
That's who they
identity.
are. And then they're the guys who get a sitcom and never do stand-up ever again. And I'm like, that guy doesn't like stand-up. He doesn't want to do stand-up.
Sure.
Like, he loves stand-up. It's like he hasn't done it in 26 years. He doesn't like stand-up. Paula Abdul would sing songs if she liked to sing or was good at it. She doesn't
Not
do
go
it.
on tour because the bills need to be paid.
She gets dragged out the road, pushed out on stage, and literally told, dance, monkey. And here's your Mr. Microphone, and we've taken the batteries out of it.
Like when the boy bands go back on tour. You ever see, you know?
And then there is the Janet Jacksons who have no ability, no skill, no anything. And then there's the Beastie Boys who have something, but not that much. But they're what you would do if someone forced you to start a band, and you're like, I'm not really musical, but I could think I'll figure something out. And then they're the Eagles, who are actually skilled musicians and very good at what they do.
All four of them are good singers.
Very good in concert.
Five.
And playing drums and singing is impossible. I just don't like any of their songs. and
they really tapped into like a cornball wavelength for a second.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got their set list. So there is.
How'd you get the set list?
There's an app or something. You can go online, so says Joe, the producer. But they got Hotel California, which is fine because that's sort of their stairway to heaven, and it's interesting enough, I guess. I mean,
you're gonna play the big hit for sure.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if I never need to hear that song ever again, but it's fine. You know what I mean? And then there's One of These Nights, which we don't need. And then there's Lion Eyes, which we really don't need. And then there's Take It to the Limit, which we really don't need. And then there's Witchy Woman, which is a fucking disaster. But everybody in the 70s had to write some sort of devil witchy lady song. There's like,
that was hot.
There's like 13 devil woman, witchy devil woman. Like there was a million Cajun queens, all from New Orleans. That's what they always went down to New Orleans and tangled with the Cajun queens, Cat's Eyes, Nine Lives. Like they just wrote gypsy, stupid chick. It sounds fucking retarded because it is, but they
spooky energy.
They wrote like spooky gypsy lady songs. Cher's got one. They all from 1970. Like 2 to 1976, they're like, we need witchy gypsy fucking women.
Well, how do you
songs.
feel about the New Kid in Town?
I like that song. So that is a good song. Tequila Sunrise is fine. We don't really need it. In the City is good because that's Joe Walsh, and Joe Walsh is interesting.
So what is this thing? Oh, because this is they play some of their side projects.
Well, Joe Walsh was in the Eagles for a while, and then I think they kicked him out of the Eagles.
And then he's back.
But Joe Walsh is funny. He's personally funny. He's been on the show before, but he used to do like radio DJing stuff. He's got a sense of humor, but he plays a killer lick. He's a great guitar player, and he's good. And so when you hear one of his songs, you go, oh, that's a little more interesting than the sort of normal fare
Well,
that
I'll tell
comes
you
from the
my
Eagles.
theory on kind of what you're saying. There's a lot of songs where they go, this is the verse, this is the chorus, then we'll do it. And then there's other people that are like, well, let's add a little more to that.
Yeah, so Those Shoes is a shit song that we don't need to hear again. Life's Been Good, that's the Joe Walsh song.
I
which
like
is
that one.
Interesting. Yeah, because he's funny and he's self-deprecating.
It's got like an attitude.
Yeah, it's got a good lick. Already Gone, fun, fine, energetic. Boys of Summer, horrible.
Desperados.
It's a horrible song.
Desperados, kind of Witchy Woman again, right?
Yeah, it's not insulting. Witchy Woman is insulting.
The Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
Elaine said it was her song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I think that she was with the guy who had a song, and then she was like, well, Witchy Woman could be our song. And the guy was like, no.
That's weird that it brought up
Classic.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, it is.
Now, then I got fucked over royally by Life in the No, not Life in the Fast Lane.
They do have a lot of hits, though. I'm realizing.
I do, yeah, me too.
Banger
I'm
City.
shocked that I know all of these songs, like pretty much. Like I'm just shocked because this isn't my genre.
All right, so tell me what kind of beating I took on this one. One of my least favorite songs. It's not an Eagles song. It's a Glenn. I don't know if it's a Glenn Fry song or trying to think of the other. Anyway, Boys of Summer. Okay, I hate that song.
Okay.
Do you know that song? The
Sort
Boys
of.
of Summer. Oh, you'll
Sing me the chorus if you don't mind.
Yeah, like, just the chorus.
After the boys of
yeah, of
summer
course. Yeah.
have gone. It's a shit song because he goes, I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac.
Oh,
Said,
yeah.
boy, don't ever look back. I was like, ugh, the fucking lyrics. Ugh. But good news is I had to take a piss. So I got up
That's the good
and
news.
started walking to the bathroom and then heard Boys of Summer. And I was like, oh, perfect. Because I'm going to take a 4-minute piss. And then when I come back, this will be done. But then I got to the bathroom and they're doing something. And this is interesting. Then I turn the corner, I get into the bathroom and they're playing Imagine by John Lennon, which is a shit song.
Why are they playing Imagine?
As well.
Why are they just doing random covers? That seems weird.
No. That's being pumped into the bathroom.
The bathroom DJ.
They didn't switch to Imagine. I hate Imagine, but it's mostly I hate people who like Imagine. All the dumbos, you know, they're like, we're going to reimagine policing. All right, have fun getting raped. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this Imagine. So he's a hero because he imagines a place with no borders and like no possessions. And okay, that's awesome.
It's a dorm room anthem.
Yeah. Tell that to Israel as Hamas is riding a moped.
It's more, that's
into
more
the
of a-
music festival, you fucking idiot. Well, and his whole thing is, it's on us to figure it out. Like, he imagined it. Elon Musk can make it happen, but he did the heavy lifting by imagining a world with no religion and no possessions
And how does
and
it
no
work?
God.
You go, that's where you come in. You ever see Ali G selling the ice cream eating glove? It's that as an idea.
Exactly.
He goes, and then he goes, hoverboards, right? And the guy goes, well, how does the technology go work? He goes, that's where you come in.
That's right. That's
a lot of ideas.
They
that.
imagine a world where Hamas and Israel live in unity and everything.
How does it work?
Well, no, I did my part. I did
I'm
the LG part. You do the gravity part.
I'm the idea guy.
I did this part. Yeah. So it's a bullshit. First off, it's not even a good song. Secondly, it's for all people. It's every asshole at Rolling Stones magazine's favorite song. They all love that fucking
would
song.
be.
Every asshole loves that song. And they all cite it, but it's horribly destructive because we get fucked over. They go, listen, we got to reimagine this policing thing. We got to defund. We got to reimagine. And next thing you know, people are getting fucking shanked in the street because you've reimagined something that's not, or like, we have to stop.
Reimagine the better version first before you get rid of the first version.
I want a John Lennon song called "Here's the Plan," not Imagine. You know what I mean? Like, we have to start treating our unhoused neighbors with dignity. All right, they're all taking a shit on your sidewalk and shooting up in the park. You need a plan.
I had a policing solution because I was watching. I was watching a doc about these guys who ran this. They run 100 miles in jail. They ran marathons in jail. They had a club, and all these guys were very successful. And they're kind of. The moral of the story was that the policing systems in America is bad, and too many people are in the jails, right?
Right.
So I would think, if I go practical, you go, I'm king. What can you actually do? I was like, there should be some sort of where you put, if you want to incentivize, put some charge on. No, I've never said this before, so it's probably a bad idea, and you'll know why.
I'm listening. I will vet it in real time.
If the biggest problem is these 12-year-olds to 18, right? So
Right.
you take these guys, and if they can get to 25 without being in a gang, they're
Yes.
fine, right?
Yes.
Or without a life of crime. But the problem is the gang members get them young. So if you're a gang member, you have a criminal record of any sort, there should be like an added thing on parole where it's like when you're around people that are under 18, like you're not allowed to be with people that are under 18 without their guardians. So it would basically incentivize gang members being like, hey, if you want to get 16-year-olds and put them in your gang, like that's going to really kill you when you get your prosecutions.
Yeah.
So you have incentives to keep gang members away from high school kids. And if they can make it to 19, I bet you they're 10 times less likely to be in a gang. So I don't know exactly how to do it, but the incentive structure that if you are criminals, the cost of like trying to get kids involved at an early age is like really high.
Well,
to start.
Or dads could hang out and raise their kids, and then we could probably
Well,
do away
sure,
with
there's
this
a lot
as
of-
well.
But
I agree. No, you're there. Mark
Try to be
Garagos.
practical.
Mark Garagos' dad was a prosecutor out here, and he always just tells me his dad. I'll paraphrase, but it's like he's like if they don't. Something like he doesn't prosecute like almost anyone over 25. It's all young.
That's why
young
they get the
boys.
young guys.
Yeah.
So it incentivizes exactly the opposite of what you'd want.
Right. I mean, the problem with gangs is it's sort of like when they put those signs up, like this is a gun-free zone. Okay, that's great that the food court at the Sherman Oaks Mall is gun-free, but now the guy's got the gun who's going to shoot all the people at the food court knows no one's firing back. He doesn't. The problem is he's not following the rules.
Yeah, of course.
And the gangs traditionally and almost famously don't follow
Well, it's
rules.
like, you take an abusive couple and you're like, oh, we solved. We put a sign up in the guy's house that says no beating your wife.
Right, yeah.
See, but what you're talking about is ingrained in the culture, but like gang members, their brothers are in the gang.
But they'd be less likely to if when they went to get their prosecution that they're getting an extra 3 years because they had like a 16-year-old
You're
involved.
trying to
So
you're trying to get like guys who are criminals to like think ahead.
They already
The
are
whole
because
reason-
right now that's the reason they get the kids is because there's lesser sentence for the kids. So they're like, okay, well, I already have priors. This guy's going to do this one. Like, I think there is a big involvement of who's going to hold the drugs. Like, well, the guy that's young, that they're not going to prosecute as hard. I'm sure that all is a factor.
All right.
I'm trying to incentivize.
We're getting back to the Eagles. You're right. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Might not be the answer, but the idea of like incentivizing everything you could do to incentivize kids out of becoming.
Well, and
once
listen,
someone's 25 career
incentivize
criminals.
dads to stay home and raise your sons, and
Well, they're not mutually exclusive. They're both good
They
ideas.
could do both. Yeah, they're both good. So anyway, I'm in the Ryan's phone fell up. I'm in the bathroom thinking I escaped the Boys of Summer, but it turns out I'm now being punished with Imagine by John Lennon, which has angered me because I thought I pulled a fast one.
Yeah.
Because I got up to piss 10 seconds before they started the Boys of Summer. And as I was walking toward the head and I heard Boys of Summer, I was like, this is the greatest tactical move. I pulled off a coup here. This is amazing. In my head, I was like a hat trick.
Sure.
It was pulled off. And then when I got to fucking hear Lennon pumped into the commode, I was immediately angered.
It's like you're at a wedding when they start doing couples dances and you're
Right.
getting a drink and there ends up being a huge line. And then, by the time you get back, the dances are over.
But the Sphere, one of the most technologically advanced structures on the planet. I mean, it's like second only to a modern day aircraft carrier in terms of technology.
Yeah.
Do they not have the ability to pump in the music from the stage through a speaker in the
Yeah,
bathroom?
they have that ability everywhere, right?
Right. So then what's the tactical decision? Like, we don't want people meandering in the bathroom listening
Very
to the
good point.
concert. Like,
Yeah.
the Sphere has every technology known to man. So somebody said, what's playing through the speaker? No, first off, someone said, we need a speaker in the bathroom. Like, that's number
And
one.
it's- what's that gonna
we
be
want
playing?
music in the bathroom. And
Well,
then
that's a
they went,
different committee.
well, then what are we doing with this? What's coming through the speaker in the bathroom? Then I would have raised my hand and said, well, I think what's going on stage, because let's just say
Call me
someone,
crazy.
someone has irritable bowel syndrome or something, you know what I mean? And they had something that disagreed with them, and they may spend some time on the commode. They spent $1,700 for these tickets.
Sure.
They could miss 3 songs from U2 or the Eagles or whatever. Shouldn't we just pump the concert in, and then someone would go, I'd go, what's the downside? And then someone would go, what if people are enjoying themselves too much while they're taking a shit? I'd go, I still think they're going to get up and make their way back to their seat.
You're
in a
right. It
timely
has to
fashion.
be that they go, people are going to piss quicker if they're missing it. That has to be. That's the only thing it could be. But yeah, still don't agree. I'm
Yeah,
with
so
you.
now I'm listening to John Lennon. But it's still better than the Boys of Summer, but I'm still angered because I thought I pulled one off. So then I get this one. This is an issue. I see when I get there, or I knew in advance that Joe Walsh is playing. And Joe Walsh I like because Joe Walsh is interesting and he's funny and he's really good. And then I see that they're letting him do a song every once in a while. Don Henley does 3, and then they let him, and then Vince Gill's in the band now does it. It's all good. It sounds amazing. But I'm like, okay, Joe Walsh is doing stuff. And Joe Walsh is going to do some of his stuff in this Eagles concert because everyone loves Joe Walsh and they all know it. And it's a kind of break for I don't know, break, but it's the band gets to go and do a Joe Walsh song. So now I'm sitting there.
You're getting older.
Yeah, and I'm like, my favorite Joe Walsh song is Walk Away, which is a James Gang song, which we can play you some of. And so now I'm sitting there going, will you fucking play Walk Away? Play Walk Away. Oh, is this live? This does not seem like, I don't know, maybe it is. All right, anyway, you can find a version of, you don't need the one from Monterey Pop from 1972. There's just a version of this that exists on the radio. This is a long intro and missing the stuff. But I'm not sure why I would want that version of it, I guess. But you can just play the one we'd hear on the radio, I guess would be my
Did you have fun at this concert at all?
I enjoyed the Eagles. I don't like their songs, but their craft.
Part of the fun's critiquing it, though.
That's great. That's an
crap.
Adam Carolla answer right there. I don't like their song, but I had fun. Yeah.
Here's a question.
Right.
I have no problem. If I go to a bad movie versus a good movie, I'd probably enjoy it just as much.
I am too.
I'm there for the...
I'm with you.
I'm there to trash it.
All right, start at the beginning there. Sorry. One of these nights, taking a witchy woman. Really, we couldn't fucking shoehorn this one in. Couldn't a much far superior product to those shoes, which sucks. And well, they played Rocky Mountain Way at the end. That's a Joe Walsh song, but he didn't play.
And they got to play on.
Heartache Tonight. Oh. Yeah. You know Heartache Tonight?
Yeah, of course. Gonna be
a
heartache tonight.
A heartache tonight. I know. It's such an inferior product.
You picture
of the
that
song
going
we just
with
heard.
a woman just all asleep on the couch with a cigarette in, with way too much ash still hanging off.
Yeah, it's harsh.
All right, but other than that,
that's music that you do while you're playing the penny slot machines.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun. Hooked up,
getting your peel-offs.
Hooked up with old partner Skip Bedell from Catch a Contractor show and hung out and had a drink.
Did you do a show in Vegas? Is that why you're there?
No.
Okay, just went for that.
For the first time ever, just went to Vegas to watch a concert and then come home like everyone else does.
Fun.
No shows, no work, no nothing. Also, an interesting thought I had, and not connected to any of this, but I was speaking to Scott Galloway and on yesterday's show, and he gives all the money. He's very into the training for trades. He's kind of
like a
rich Mike Rowe.
Reimagining what college, reimagining what dudes should do instead of college situation.
Yeah, but let him learn plumbing, let him learn bricklaying, let him learn electrician or whatever. And he's given lots of money to UCLA and UC Berkeley, and specifically millions of dollars so they could start a program, right? And I said, good, get those kids some vocational training. And he said, they won't let me use the word vocational because they think it tarnishes their institution. And I was thinking about it, I was like, what fucking snobs? Like, vocational just means learning a trade, It's not a negative, dirty word. But then I thought to myself, UCLA won't let the guy gave him $13 million use the word vocational, but if you want to fly the Palestinian flag and yell from the river to the sea, come on down. You found a home in UCLA. They literally will let you fucking talk about exterminating Jews. No judgment there, but vocational, that's where they draw the line.
It's a branding problem.
It's a branding problem.
Whereas people did.
Whereas I Heart Hamas is no problem in terms of branding for those assholes.
Well, it's a very highfalutin sort of activism that they're into.
Mm-hmm. No, I just thought that
They don't want to be associated with some
they don't want to be a
pig on a rig.
They don't want to be associated with a skill or trade, but they don't really they're not a problem with the Hamas association. It's really what I was thinking.
I don't think
about
they very rarely have a problem, period, with whatever the activist cause du jour is.
Yeah, I agree. But my thing is, if you were to take college, UCLA, US, any of the higher ones, and you just went in a nutshell, for me, what's the deal? Vocation, they got a problem with that word. River to the sea, no problemo. Then I'm like, all right, now I know everything I need to know.
How they feel about different words.
It seems a little inverted to me. I feel like vocational should be fine. Also, you're a college. Vocational means something. It's like it has a word, like it's a definition.
Job.
It means job. It's like I looked it up. It basically just means being trained to do a task. Like you could even say surgery.
Yeah, and some of these aren't
vocational.
It's not all plumbing.
No, I know it's a lot of you can do computer stuff and design stuff and whatever. I'm just saying, what's with the fucking snobbery, UCLA? But I wouldn't expect anything less. But it was funny that the Palestine flag, no problemo, but vocation, big problem. On that note, talking words. I sometimes do this on the show. Do we need the word brash and brazen? They're close and they're kind of unnecessary. We could do away with one. Let's say we got to get rid of one. Do we want to get rid of
brazen? I think we need them both because brash is like sudden, like I am being brash, but brazen is like I'm like.
There's an aggression to it.
I'm brazen is I'm courageous in a general manner. Like
brazen has a negative connotation to it.
Brash is jumping over the table and grabbing somebody. Brazen is like planning out a whole jumping over the table, like a whole planning.
I don't know.
It out.
I think you got your brash and your brazen split.
Damn it!
This is why we can't have both.
Yeah.
All right, let's figure this out.
Yeah, brash is a little sloppier than brazen.
That's what I'm saying. Brash could
There's
be
a little
anything.
more intentionality to being brazen about it.
Brash is jumping on the counter and hitting the.
All right, do we need bold?
Brash, I'll tell you the difference. I'm kind of with him a little bit, maybe a little less, but brash would be that you brought your new girlfriend out to the baptism and she's got her tits out and you're like, you're being a little brash right now. Brazen is you did it on purpose.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Brazen is you're sticking it to them by doing this.
All right, so brash is self-assertive in a rude way, noisy or overbearing way.
Yeah. It's
and
pistol whipping somebody.
Brazen is bold and without shame.
Yes.
All right. I think you were pretty close there, but
brazen's you can't wait for people to ask you about it, and you go, "Is there a problem?"
No, brazen is robbing the bank. Brash is pistol whipping the guy. Like that's whoa, you're just not even thinking.
I don't think we need both. We could pick one or make a third word out of both of them, brashin' or something. Also, brazen.
Yeah, brazen.
Okay, we're just talking about vocational. Brazing is a form of welding.
Brazing. Not speaking my language now.
Brazing, look up the act of brazing. Like if a guy was a real skilled metallurgist, like a shaper of metal, and he was making like a custom $100,000 motorcycle, and he was doing a custom nickel tank or something on it, he might braze it.
Oh.
So
I have heard that word.
It's not welding, but it's old school. It's what it was like.
It's like laying a bead
brazing
in a circle?
and then welding. Let's see. We'll look up brazing. But if somebody said to me, "What are you doing in your garage this weekend?" I'd go brazen. And then now we're confused.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? There's an issue. It must happen countless times.
See, the difference is in your world, that word is, that's the first I'm hearing of this word.
Yes. So brazing is a form,
inside baseball, fix and stuff terminology.
Or to join by soldering with an alloy of copper and zinc at high temperature. So a lot of brazing going on, especially with the ladies. So this could be confusing with the brazen and the brazing.
You're right.
Right?
Next thing you know, you got a workplace injury.
This is why I want to get rid of brazen.
It's a safety hazard.
Well, all the fine brazers who are brazing.
Yeah.
Then there's brazzers.
And this guy.
Yeah, there's no brazzers. Yeah. So, right, this guy's. What's this guy got? A
This
torch?
guy is brazenly brazing right
He's
now.
The filler metal, and we'll be ready to go.
he's got his torch. He's heating up his surface. He's got his stick of copper and zinc, and he's.
So at this point, we're ready to drop my shield and go ahead and weld this up.
So this
Like I
is a
said,
vocation we got
Cherry
here.
red. Apply the filler metal until it.
He's brazing. Watch him
Fills
drop
the
it.
joint.
Watch him drop his shield. Oh, he did it with his fucking hand. What a puss. Supposed to do it with the head.
Yeah, you're right. A head nod.
All right, this guy's brazing. Hey, can I say this, fellas?
Please.
I watch some of these videos
Is this
sometimes.
what you do?
Sit home and I brazenly watch brazing videos.
Yeah.
I watch brazing videos, and then my lady says, "You're spending all weekend," and then I brazenly say to her, "Get out of my woman, get out of my face, woman! I'm watching brazing videos."
That's quite brash of you.
Yes, you see how confusing this whole thing is.
If I want to watch some brazen.
All right, and then there's bold, and then people go, "It's bold, brash, and brazen."
Bold's in the same category as well.
Yeah. But it gets attached to a flavor of an IPA or something, you know. That IPA is not brazen or brash flavor. It's bold. All right.
Could be brazen in the commercial.
Yeah, what the hell?
I was
Make a new one.
I was watching. All right, so we're going to get rid of brazen.
Oh,
Sorry.
my favorite.
Sorry,
bro.
we got brash and we got
All right,
brazing.
Fine.
All right. There's a couple things. You see these TV commercials? I figured out that in TV commercials, fully 74% of welders are all women. Like in these stupid commercials where the mask goes up and it's the chick.
No.
Well, here's what I've learned from commercials.
And commercials, girls are guys, guys are girls.
Yeah, 70. All right,
It's old
91% of judges in our legal system are black women. That's
According to
91%.
commercials.
Yes. 74% of welders are women, and all couples are mixed.
And 90% of car crashes, men.
Yeah, that's right. Figured it all out. All right, tell me what you think of this. I watch these videos every once in a while, right? And I don't watch.
There's some good, sorry to interrupt, there's some good British ones, if you remember. It was kind of like when you got to stop guys when they're doing something bad, and it's just like white dude with a mustache, just like every single one, and then there's like 3 Indian dudes and a black guy have to stop him.
Oh, I love it. I love
from
it.
molesting the Asian girl.
I love it. I love it.
Not okay, brother.
Oh, man.
That's the best part. That's the best part because in the commercial I was making fun of with Scott Galloway, which is that Gillette toxic masculinity commercial, which we can watch.
That was the OG.
It's retarded.
The OG
It's like
bad commercial.
2 7-year-old dudes at a barbecue, like wrestling on the lawn, and Dad said, "Hey, man, not cool." But the best part about all those commercials is they go, "Look, we're doing a commercial. We need black, we need Hispanic, we need everything because we're doing a commercial. But we can't have the black guys engaged in the bad behavior."
They have that problem with villains right now, too. They
Right.
They
So
can't.
in this commercial, at some point, there's some like ginger dude standing on the sidewalk, and some hot chick goes walking by, and he goes, "Hey, look at," and the black guy goes, "Hey, not cool, man." We all know that black guy who's never been born. He's coaching up the white guy not to say anything to the hot chick. Not cool, dude.
That was the classic.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome when they do it. I don't know. I find it way more fascinating.
Well,
it's brazen.
When you look at places, and those are all government-funded ads a lot of times. I think the Gillette one's different, but a lot of these other ones are like the government did it, and governments always try to do 3 things at the same time.
Right.
So they're like, well, we'll stop racism and stereotypes, and we'll have this. He's like, you can't do 9 things with your message.
Right.
That's called a convoluted script.
And there may be one black guy who does a cat call to a woman walking down the sidewalk.
You might want to mix it up here and there.
Possible. No, so it's weird because it's bad guys and we need black guys, but we can't have black guys doing bad things in our Gillette commercial.
It is a casting nightmare. It's hard to find the perfect thing because yes, you want to have the right dynamics. You can't just have. You're like, well, you want to cast white guys, but you're like, well, you can't make them the good guy, and I think people black guys. And that was always a problem when I was doing TV shows. They would be like, I was doing a show where we were making fun of people, right? And they were
Right.
like, well, we want a lot of diversity and a lot of girls. And it was like, okay, but we have to make fun of them then.
Right.
And they're like,
we
no.
don't want that.
And you're like, well, like,
Yeah. So and I'll show you this commercial in a second. It makes me laugh. But, let's just run it because it's mostly all bullshit. I did just lie about everything. All right. So, guys.
this was the OG bad commercial.
Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Guys have to think. I stare in the mirror all
Is
the
this
time
the
and
best a man
think
can
about
get?
how much better I could get.
Is it?
White guy being chased by all white guys.
Bullying, a problem.
We can't hide from
Bullying.
it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's
So
been
you can
going on
pause
far
it.
too
So
long.
listen, they need diversity, but none of the people chasing the kid to beat him up can be diverse.
Nah.
So that's the problem. So you have the only setting where there's like 7 kids and they're all white. Because the white kid is running. If it was a black kid running, now we're getting into Jim Crow era
It's
shit
bad
here.
imagery. It's complicated.
Right, it's complicated. But my argument is
Multiracial people, like if you're ethnically ambiguous, you're crushing it in commercials right now.
You gotta toss in a black guy. Here's what I'd say. Let's have 3 white guys, 1 black guy, and 1 Hispanic chasing the 1 white kid. That's not bad. But so now you have a situation where all white kids are chasing the other white kid. But all right, we can keep going here.
You know, they always, one other thing they do is all the couples, they purposely make them the ones you wouldn't see. So it'll be like Asian guy, black woman. Like they never do the traditional, you know what I mean? So it's always the couples you don't really see that much of.
Yes.
Inclusion.
All right, sorry.
Harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy? What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
White guy.
Boys will be boys.
Yes,
Boys
sir.
will be boys.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're
But something
wrestling. It's healthy for them, you fucking pussies.
Regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
Hey, that lady. I know that lady.
Become a
And there will be
Republican
no
now.
going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Terry Crews.
Nice. Terry Crews.
To say the right
president.
thing. To act
Here we
the
go.
right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
Some already
That's the
are.
black guy telling the white guy not to rape.
In ways big
The whitey's chasing whitey again.
and small.
Oh, yeah. Stop wrestling.
But some
kids.
is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay?
All right. I hope another war doesn't
Because
break
the
out or
boys watching
bridge
today.
needs to be built or
Well,
something.
it's also hilarious to
Men.
compare the two,
All
where
right,
you're like,
we're done.
one is a guy's like molesting a girl, the other is like a guy breaking up a kid that's getting beat up. You're like, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. If a kid's getting the shit kicked out of him, if you're an adult, you might step in.
I
You go,
think,
that one's pretty
I think
reasonable.
those kids are just fucking wrestling, though.
Oh, no,
the
he's
last
talking
one.
about
Oh,
the
the last one.
street
Yeah,
fight.
you know, they have 5 kids in jersey
Yeah.
and the guy. But
Yeah.
also these New York kids, you're an adult, you try to get in there, you go, hey, now they kick the shit out
I
of you.
always wait
Yeah.
until one guy is definitely beaten, and then I thought, all right, now that's enough. That's enough.
Some
Don't
of these
kill him.
city kids are pretty tough these
But
days.
they are. They are.
All right. We got some news.
Yeah, we
Ryan
do.
Long's going to hang out.
Trump's a McDonald's guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I
Beating it off.
got a hot take on that one.
Oh, yeah?
A hot take. All right, take a quick break. Be back with the news and mayhem right after this.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Brad Williams and Jay Leno. Hey, buddy. Over there, we're doing our 3rd annual comedy fantasy camp. That's going to be January 23rd through the 26th, right in Hollywood, California. Where else would it be? These guys are going to be there.
So remember, 2 out of every 3 comics make it big.
Well, 1.5.
Do I get paid for this? Please tell me I get paid for this.
Go to comedyfantasycamp.com and get in on the fun.
Old school security systems only act once somebody's already in your home. Simply Safe, well, has changed all that. New Active Guard outdoor protection stops crime before it starts. Live monitoring agents keep watch outside of your home for anyone loitering or acting suspicious. LiveGuard can see speak to, and scare off with a loud siren and spotlight anyone who's out there monkeying around where they shouldn't be. Simply Safe cameras, AI ignores friendly faces, family, neighbors, dog walkers, all the good citizens, while alerting agents to threats. Starts at only about $1 a day. No hidden fees, no long-term contracts. You can cancel anytime. These guys have been a sponsor for years on the show, and we all use it here. And you can save 50%. Just my listeners, 50% off. Just visit simplysafe.com/Adam. That is simplysafe.com/Adam. Right, Dawson?
This offer is only valid for 1 week, so visit the website now, simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Qualia Senolytics, the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging. I feel 15 years younger, and you'll feel 15 years younger in a matter of months. As we age, the body accumulates senescent cells or zombie cells that cause symptoms of aging, aches, slow workout recovery, sluggish mental and physical energy. Like pruning dead leaves off a plant, Qualia Senolytics removes worn out old senescent cells and allows the rest to thrive. So that's it. You got to prune those cells. Take it just 2 days a month. It's non-GMO. It's vegan. It's gluten-free. 100-day money-back guarantee to feel fantastic. It is the best move I've ever made. Am I right, Dawson?
Resist aging at the cellular level. Try Qualia Senolytic. Go to qualialife.com/Adam for up to 50% off and use code Adam at checkout for an additional 15% off. For your convenience, Qualia Senolytic is also available at select GNC locations near you. That's QUALIA life.com/Adam for an extra 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode.
Businesses that sell through the roof like Allbirds or Skims, well, they have a great product, but the brand, the marketing, the business behind the business makes selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. Way less carts go abandoned, meaning way more sales. So if you want to grow your business, your platform has to sell wherever your customers are scrolling. The web, your store, their feed, everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Am I right, Dawson?
Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
There is a lot of Gen Z and millennials or bitches stuff on the internet, which is true a little bit, but I don't like hearing it from someone that's too much older when it'll be like, men used to be men and we used to know how to treat a woman and they would respect us. And it's like, you also used to punch them way more.
Ryan Long is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Ryan Long just stepped out to take a whiz, and he'll step right back in when he's done taking his whiz. Theoretically.
Allegedly.
I can filibust for a second here. I will say this. I was taking an Uber in Vegas, and I brought this up before. The Uber driver was on the shortish side, had the seat. Ryan, you must have experienced this, and Mayhem probably as well. There's Uber drivers who drive in an almost dentist chair full recline. And it's like, you know, your entire job is comprised of people getting in the back of your already not that big car, and you're not even that tall. And by the way, I drive race cars all the time. You're not supposed to drive in a reclined position. You're supposed to sit up. But also there's people getting in behind you, and then your knees just press against. I took a picture. I want this. Here's my rule. Here's the rule I'm saying.
This is you?
This is me taking a picture of the Uber guy who's reclined. And by the way, they don't even lean back on their seat. They're up above. The rule is your seat shall not exceed the B pillar. It can't get into the back area. That's my Uber rule. I don't care. That's the new rule. Your rule is your seat must stay. And if you're 6'9", fuck off.
And 5-minute conversations tops.
Yeah, but if you're 6'9", get a job in the Euro League. We need you driving.
That's a
fucking
good
Uber.
point.
But move your seat up. Sorry, and they go, well, I prefer. I know, but this isn't you driving your car for pleasure. This is you picking up people with knees who are going to have them rammed into the back of your fucking seat the whole time. What is that? Like, I'll get picked up by Uber guys who have their passenger seat fully back and like half reclined, and there's nothing. I'm not riding shotgun. I'm getting in the back. Why?
I bust a 3-act play. First act is me jam my knees up against that thing.
Right.
To like kind of nudge and subtly let the guy know. Second one is, and then the third is, bud, can you put your seat up?
Yeah.
And there you go.
I'm like, what you're doing right now, dude, is either brash or brazen. My head's swimming, but either way, it's one of those. Certainly bold. But it's like, people get in your car and they sit in the back. Move the passenger seat up. There's nothing going on in the passenger seat.
No reason for that.
Right.
I think you need the hey bud method. Like,
hey bud.
Hey bud. Hey, bud. Like, hey, bud lets them know, hey, we're friends. It's like, hey, my friend. It's like the white guy version of my friend. Hey, bud. Hey, bud, can you do me a favor? I think that would solve a lot of your problems.
Your voice has a lot more command in it. There's a lot more.
Hey, bud coming from this.
Yeah, it's clear. It's present. Can we get an app going? A Hey Bud app going where Jason Mayhem Miller just give me 3.
Hey, bud, can you help me out?
Let's do that.
Yeah, then when you say it, it's not a suggestion.
Right. But let's have some fun with that. I want 3 clean. Right. I want the polite, hey bud.
Hey bud.
Okay. That's like heads up.
Yep.
That's like I think okay.
But it's also a little demeaning. It's very like,
hold on.
Is it?
Yes, it's like he's a kid to you.
All right. Hold on.
Oh, hey little buddy, you know.
Skipper from Gilligan's Island. Listen, I need the first hey bud. And by the way, Ryan, I'll direct here, please. This is my app.
A bit of color commentary here and
there. You're just an investor. But when
I choose to be.
When we did the paperwork, I said I get creative, 100% cretive license over this project.
Considering it.
All right.
So we got that take down, though. The happy one? No. He stepped on it.
First bud is... You found somebody's sunglasses in the back of the thing, and you're just alerting. Hey, like,
it's a nice one.
Okay, so give me the nice one.
Hey, bud.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's good. We'll keep it.
All right.
Second bud is.
I want to say, as a Canadian, my culture is not your guys' costume.
But this
is this appropriation.
This is Appalachia, bud. This is Appalachia.
You get married in Canada. The priest says, hey, buddy, do you take this bud to be your bud for life?
Really?
No, we don't go buddy. We never say buddy around where I'm from. We say, hey, bud. Hey, bud.
All right. Second,
I'll let you have bud.
Second bud is the seats kind of reclined a little too far. You'd like him to move it up.
Hey, bud.
All right, that's good. And third is he didn't hear you the first time and the seat ain't moving.
Hey, bud.
All right, now I got that. I can get my seats moved. Now, when my voice changes, I don't know if that's going to affect him or confuse him.
Yeah. Just push the button. Push the button. Varying levels of bud.
I came up with the best app ever a million years ago before there were even apps.
Uber
I came up with an app. I came up before Uber, before anything. I was listening to Dr. Drew talk to his crazy wife in the back of a town car. And we're like in Chicago. And you know how women are missing an enzyme or they don't know you're trying to get off the phone?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll talk to my sister and I go, I saw Dad. He's doing pretty good. So I got Sonny with me now. So we're gonna get back to the football game. Yeah, you know what? I don't understand. And like you just got that. I'm in full wrap mode. Full wrap it up mode. Like that's getting off the phone time. Like we can't go around again. I heard Drew say to his wife, he's in the back of the tent. She's crazy, and she's talking, and he's like, okay, all right, will do. Like when you start hearing things like, then we'll see you when we see you. Like when you hear those are wrap it up lines, or like, we're at the airport now. So, when you hear that kind of stuff,
upward inflection.
We want to wrap it. up.
They don't understand phone consent.
They don't understand the 30. He said, "Will do." Like, yeah, okay, will do.
My ears did not consent to another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then it's funny when you hear them reboot. Like they go,
Start it back
okay,
up.
we'll do. All right, I'll see you then. All right, then we'll do. No, I haven't seen Douglas's retainer. That's when they're able to fucking reboot you, Like, well, have you talked to the maid? Well, no, he was in the living room. No, yeah, well, he was eating. Yeah, so he must have taken the retainer out. I don't know. Maybe someone sat. You gotta, and then that one will get wrapped.
Sure.
They'll start getting wrapped. Okay, then. All right, then we'll do. No, I don't. Well, I don't know an orthodontist. Someone's going to have to. You're going to have to contact them. They reboot. I came up with an app.
Yeah, definitely we can do that. They like throwing in like we should do this. Like I saw a restaurant we should go to. You go, yeah, it's definitely on the table. Now you're getting signed up for plans in the future.
Right. The third time your phone hears you say "will do" in under 40 seconds, it hangs up.
Or at least gives a 20-second countdown where it actually says the numbers.
And then goes to static. And she'll call back and think you're in a tunnel or something like that. It's 3 will do's. It'll work. It'll work with anybody.
And then it gives you bad reception.
Yeah, you get real spotty after that. Right.
Yeah, because it's not. Then the onus is not on you.
So
this would have to be a black market app.
What it does is, if you do 3 will do's in 40 seconds, it starts breaking up the next 30 seconds of conversation, and then gets staticky, and then goes flat.
Hey, did I find the will do app on your phone?
Yeah. For sure.
No, it's the Honeydew app I was trying to sign up for. I want to get some stuff done this weekend. What would I sign up for? Will do?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I meant the Honeydews. I thought maybe you want to go to IKEA or something. I didn't know that. I don't know how this thing works.
I like it, man. Yeah, it's hard to get off those calls sometimes.
Perfect. No one's feelings are hurt. Like sometimes you start to strain to rude where you just go, look, I got to go. At some point you just go,
I'll get another call.
Yeah, at some point you get rude. Like you just go, I have to get off the phone now. Like I've been trying to dance.
You made me be this person.
Yes, I was dancing around it for a while with all right, I got, a lot of conversations about who you're with and getting back to like whatever, like you go, yeah, no, I'm just with Shelly and we're eating right now. So,
how many times I gotta mention
that's
that?
good enough. That's enough to wrap
also,
it up.
I'm with people, so the personal stuff you're talking about, I'm probably going to take a pass on as well.
We're in the Uber guy's got a seat in full recline, but we're in the back and you're on speaker. So, Hey, bud. I used the Hey Bud app and the Will Do app. I could use the shit out of that. Yeah, so it's 3 will do's in a span of 40. Because you could just say will do talking to a good buddy who was talking, shit about. You got to say 3, and it's got to get choppy after that, staticky, and then it just goes drop.
You're giving it the heads up with the third one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You know what you're doing.
I got some news,
You got
guys.
news? Will do.
Mayhem, this is the news. Donald Trump, the art of the peel, learns to make McDonald's French fries. Yeah.
New York Post?
Yeah. He is, I'm sure we have footage of it, went to McDonald's. Stopped by Feasterville, Trevose, a rural area north of Philadelphia, for a campaign event and got his hands down in the grease with some of the locals. Here he is.
There is literally one tile and one tile only that McDonald's uses in the back of their restaurants.
Standard.
6x6 burnt orange. That's all it is. I can smell the grout now as I thought about working back in those days.
Right, hang it right up there.
So
I'd like to see him go at a late night McDonald's in a bad area.
Yeah.
Get the real experience if you're going to do it. Someone should be jumping over the counter fighting them.
Or a TikToker throw his Diet Coke right back at you through the drive-thru.
Exactly.
Yeah.
all right, so I had a moment where I was looking at this. You can pause it, and I was like, oh, who cares? I don't care one way or the other. I don't know why we have to go through this. But
I guess the original thing is it was because Kamala Harris said it.
Right. So I'm naive. Oftentimes, people think I'm brazen. I'm not. I'm naive, and I was just sitting around going, what do we care? What do we care? What do we care? And then I realized, oh, this is him fucking with Kamala about her dubious, possibly charge that she'd worked at a McDonald's. So then I started breaking it down. So then I was like sitting there and I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't understand in these modern times how we don't know if she worked in a McDonald's or not, or there's controversy. Should be able to figure it out. So,
or just here, look, here's the email from my boss.
Right.
With my schedule.
To me, this falls under the heading. I have this heading of cop pulls you over, asks you've been drinking. You say absolutely not. And then he goes, you mind blowing into this breathalyzer? And I go, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of like, well, if it's just a fucking Wednesday and I'm driving home from work and I get pulled over, then I kind of do want to blow into the breathalyzer because the guy thinks I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And if I don't, there's going to be more trouble. But I haven't been drinking, so what do I give a fuck? But if I don't blow into the breathalyzer, then maybe I was drinking. And then there's some 2.5 beer version of this where I'm like, not really drunk, but
you don't want to play the "you don't trust me" game with the cop.
Right. So whenever somebody doesn't just belly up, like when OJ got into trouble, like if you accused me of almost hacking my ex-wife's head off and the guy worked at the restaurant, and I in fact was upstairs in Brentwood putting into a coffee mug and getting ready while the driver sat outside to take me to LAX, I would grab a fucking microphone and go, listen, I don't know where anyone got this shit. Run with it at your own peril, because I'm going to sue the shit out of every single person that points their finger at me and calls me a murderer. And by the way, when they catch the gangbanger, the vagrant, or the whoever did this shit in 10 minutes, like somebody got the fucking murder just walking around Brentwood.
High profile.
Once they catch that guy, everyone here owes me an apology, and it won't work because I'm going to sue the shit out of all of you for calling me a thing. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm insulted, and I'm now getting my lawyer, not a defense attorney. I'm getting a lawyer to go after you guys for calling me a murderer. Instead, they're like, I have no comment. Like, that's always a weird... If you're truly out of town when this thing goes down or truly upstairs, you don't go, no comment, talk to Bob Shapiro. You go, this is fucking nuts.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, you say it.
The first few times you're almost happy. People are asking you, you're like, yeah, I'm glad you asked because I have the proof.
And you would assume that they would find this guy in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. If a guy with a steak knife took someone's head off in the middle of Brentwood at 10 at night. You go, well, this guy's fucking, they're going to find him in a youth hostel up the street, or he's going to get drunk and start talking to his buddies about, like, they're going to catch him, and then you guys are all going to apologize. But no comment is not. So if I worked at McDonald's, so I would have a bunch of answers for you about what McDonald's and when and where and who my manager was. But then, so I was reading these articles, and I was like, okay, what's the proof they have or don't have? And so what Trump has, now first things first, nobody cares who works at a McDonald's. That's not good or bad in and of itself.
I think there's
it's bad that you lied. You lied about it. That's what they're going after, the lying part. Not
why
the
would
part
she lie about this? This is the most bizarre lie.
I think it makes you appeal normal.
So here's the thing. It's the same lie, which isn't a lie, that she grew up in Oakland. She was like in Montreal most of her schooling days, and her parents are professors. So she does the blue collar, grew up in Oakland, and you go, oh, so your mom like worked at the post office and your dad worked for UPS, and then you grew up in Oakland.
No.
That's not private school in Montreal with professor parents. So she's trying to do a Jenny from the Block thing, which I get. Everybody does. It's part of,
It's too hard to pull off with this much information, you're saying.
These days.
Yeah. No, it kind of worked, because I was talking about the Montreal part, the Canada part, and I did a quiz of most of the people in this building. They're like, she grew up in Oakland. I was like, yeah, then she went to Canada, and she went to a private school, and they went, I never heard any shit about that.
Marketing.
And I was like, oh, good. Well, it did. It worked.
Yeah.
So McDonald's is part of the theme. It's like every president talking about, hey, I like to hunt, and I like to go out, it's this hunty, outdoorsy.
You'd want to have a beer with me.
Americana kind of thing. So working at McDonald's is very Americana. It doesn't say elite. Going to private school in Montreal says, and having a professor parent says elite, and then McDonald's and Oakland say Jenny from the block. So that's what we're trying to craft. So you would say I worked at McDonald's, so people thought you were sort of regular folk, which I get. But I said, well, all right, maybe she worked at a McDonald's, but she's just not pushing all the official particulars about where and when, and some of it.
She hasn't even said which one.
Maybe that's the October surprise.
She said one. I was reading the article. There was either 1 or 3 in this area that she could have worked in. That Joe.
Yeah, she said she worked at one in Alameda in 1983.
But I'm not. But there are like 3 in Alameda, so they're not sure. But she may have said one on this street. Okay, I worked at the one in Studio City on Ventura Boulevard. There is, or was, another McDonald's on Ventura Boulevard down the street about 3 miles, maybe 1.5 miles, which could have been in Studio City, but maybe in Sherman Oaks. Like, I don't know, but there's 2. So I could go, I worked at the one on Ventura.
There you go.
And there's 14 of them all the way down Ventura. But why is it murky? You know what I mean? Like, why not go the OJ route, which is Donald Trump's an idiot. I worked at this one. My manager was named so-and-so. This is his name. He's still alive. Go fucking find him and talk to him and look like an asshole. Yeah. But she's not doing it. So then the other thing they said was she's written 2 biographies and not mentioned working at McDonald's. So when one writes a biography, they start...
Biography?
Interesting. Autobiography. And you would think you move in a linear fashion, usually. Here's where I went to grade school, and then I got my job at McDonald's, and then I went to college, and I graduated, and I got married, or whatever it is. So she's written 2 with no mention of working at McDonald's, and she never brought it up anywhere until 2019, when she did bring it up. But I realized, as a guy who worked at McDonald's, it gets woven into half the stories. I'm telling, because like I literally go, like, when my son turned 16, it's like, get him a job. We should work at McDonald's. And then the women are like, no, he shouldn't have to work. And I go, I worked at McDonald's. It's good for you. It's good to learn how to work. I worked at McDonald's. Anyway, I was sitting there reading this article, and I was going, well, she wrote a biography or an autobiography, and she didn't mention McDonald's, then I guess that's kind of proof that she didn't work at McDonald's. And then I thought, oh, wait a second. I have written an autobiography on me. Redundant. Did I mention I worked at McDonald's? Because I'm willing to give her a pass, because I wrote this book.
Did you?
14 years ago.
Did you look into it?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to get too judgy here, because if I did not say that now I didn't write like a straight autobiography. It's a lot of comedy in it, funny stories and shit like that. I'm not big enough name or interesting enough just to do, the Adam Carolla biography. And I realized I would have leaned toward funny stories and hijinks and stuff like that. And I didn't have a lot of that at McDonald's. But the name of the book is not Taco Bell material, which is because I applied for a job at a Taco Bell, walking distance from my dad's house in North Hollywood. And they're like, they were hiring at a Taco Bell. And I filled out an application. Now, God knows I used to put my address where my weight and height was supposed to be, and fucking a lot of arrows going, sorry. Like, this is where it was going to be. I'm fucking retarded. But they looked at my application and they're like, we're good. I'm not hiring you. So I ended up I only went to the Taco Bell because it was up the street, and I was on a one-man campaign to bring back the Bell Beefer. I was on a crusade. Never came to fruition. But I then had to get a job in Studio City at the McDonald's. So I thought, I can't judge her unless I mentioned it in my book. And so I called Joe and I said, go find my autobiography and see if I said I worked at McDonald's in it. So I think we have it.
Still stinging from my Taco Bell rejection, I headed over to the Studio City McDonald's. It's still there on Ventura. Unfortunately, I filled out the application correctly and ended up getting the job. It was 1980, the summer between sophomore and junior year. Then down in the next paragraph, my manager's name was Ken. He was a fat black guy who took his job very seriously, and at first I did too. There's always that moment in a young man's life when he's at his first shitty job and thinking, oh yeah, one day I'm going to be managing this McDonald's.
All right. So then I'm back to being suspicious over Kamala because I did hit my. You can't write an autobiography without, and especially when you want people to think you're folksy and down homesy and whatever. You work in McDonald's, it's like, I'm going to tell my kids. I'll tell my daughter, sleep one night in your fucking car. One night. Just spend one night. A weeknight. Nobody cares. It'll be in the driveway. Just sleep in your car one night, and then later on you can go, I don't have a silver straw. I slept in my car when I first came to L.A. Yeah. You know, and they do. Everyone's...
So you're voting
86% of celebrities have slept in their car, according to them. 91 welders.
I had a good month where I was sleeping in the Caprice Classic.
There you go. See, with the bullshit again.
I had a van. Anyway, well, so you're saying she casually lied about this and now can't take it back?
So I think,
out of the tube.
I think but this one's a little more telling. I think about 6.
So you're leaning towards it's a lie.
6
survey says.
I'm leaning toward it's a lie because I think she would get the manager, her old manager, to cut a PSA.
At this point, they need to pay off a manager. They need an ex-employee. That just doesn't seem that hard.
See if Ken's still alive. Just type in McDonald's black manager. Something will come up. I will find this guy. So he, she.
Surprised that, the internet community's probably been on this, eh? They like to choose it.
She didn't. Yeah. All right. She filled out paperwork to go to, after she graduated college, which would have been 5 or 6 years after the McDonald's job. Mm-hmm. She worked McDonald's at college, which it seems weird but McDonald's is, for people that have 2 pennies to rub together. It's pretty much a high school.
Because it's not really helping with college a ton.
No, they do. I went to McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's to help with school. It was like,
didn't help that much.
I got paid, $2.42 an hour and would have worked about the same time she worked with taxes taken out.
Yeah, you work for a few weeks, pay for a book.
Hard to cover tuition at Berkeley with that. But okay, it's fine. She filled out paperwork to get a job in the DA's office or something out of, as a lower level, whatever. But in the paperwork, you have to list all of your jobs from 10 years before this. And she listed her jobs, but not McDonald's.
Oh, it's left out again.
Left out again, a little suspiciously.
Do you think before the only alternative answer, if there wasn't a lie, you could say, well, she was trying to craft this image of I'm this elite fancy person, so I want to leave out the McDonald's thing. And now,
I would think she would leave
now
that
it's now it's beneficial, so they're like, oh, let me put that thing back in. That's the only plausible.
No, I didn't. Yeah, when I didn't tell chicks I worked at McDonald's to try to get a blowjob when I was 21. As a veteran of smell my cuticles, baby. Smell like onion. Smell like onion because I was a grill guy. No, I didn't tell people.
Do you know what salt goes in the fry cook? Yeah, I can tell you back in the place.
Yeah. And we had our own language. Burgers up, wrap please, cheese count on max please, cheese 3 please. I know it all.
I came this close from working at Harvey's, which is like a Canadian chain. But
I'm a Chick-fil-A veteran.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh. The only guy to get fired from Chick-fil-A.
How'd you get fired?
I swept the...
Gay sex?
I swept the counter with a broom.
Oh, really?
I know. Right in front of the manager. And all the gay sex.
I would do all the sweeps and the mops of the dining areas and stuff.
Yeah, they stuck me on that too. That's a goon job.
I fought kids in a parking lot I fought kids in a parking lot at my McDonald's and didn't get fired. I don't think anyone knew.
That's par for the course, man.
Fucking little snot-nosed 13-year-olds on their skateboards all buzzing around. They're buzzing around. I was mopping the outdoor area. They're like, hey, you missed a spot, loser. And they're all just laughing. Hey, I'm going to eat here later and shoot a snot rocket now. And you pick it up. Missed it, loser. They were like 13.
Snapped it.
They were 13 and they're fucking brazen.
How old were you?
Bitches. I was 16. And what they didn't realize is I was fucking training like Vision Quest to play linebacker in football. I was just fucking working drills and running bleachers and zigzags.
You're shredded.
I was fast. No, not fast. Quick. Super quick. But not fast. But quick for 10 yards. Mm-hmm. Real quick. And I was just sitting there and I just kept mopping and looking down and they kept getting closer. They got a little closer and their friends were encouraging, they were egging each other on and they're on skateboards and they take like 2 pedals, 2 pumps, come at me and go, miss a spot, loser, and then they peel off. I just sit there like mopping and looking down. And at some point, I waited for the guy to take 2 pumps at me, so he was going right at me, and I just fucking dropped the mop and went into full blitz, like full linebacker, fucking full blitz mode on this kid. And he was like, his face was like, ah! He was still coming toward me, and I looked like I was doing what reptiles do.
Fainted.
Yeah, is that alligator even awake? Pit it. Kick that thing. It's not even awake, and all of a sudden it's on you. Yeah. That's what I did to this kid on a fucking hood of a car. I didn't punch him. I just threw him on the hood of his car, watched his friends all fucking run, called them all fucking pussies, and showed them off the car. But I didn't get fired for that.
Nice.
Yeah, sweeping a mop. Well, that's what I did when I wasn't making the burgers. So, not in the autobiography and not on the application for... It goes, what jobs have you had? And really won't weird. Give us anything about it. So I'm going to go with she's lying. Yeah. That's what I'm going to go
Aren't they both cosplaying as down homey type people?
Yes.
Like they're both yeah, we're normal humans just like you. My billions of dollars, my supermodel wife.
I think he was trolling her. I don't know what else he was trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you're right.
But I
got a burger hot take on the topic. Yeah. I don't like this new business where every single restaurant has decided that a normal cheeseburger has caramelized onions on it. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's like within the last 3 years, you can't get a burger without caramelized onions. It ruins the whole burger. It's the most aggressive taste. It's like they think in 2024 they figured out the better way to do a burger. You didn't. They figured it out before.
Everything's artisan.
Everyone seems to like it except for me, but yeah.
No, I was with my assistant back there asking him what was on his burger, and he said caramelized onions, and I thought I like raw onion.
Every place you go.
Yeah, I like raw onion. I'm old school.
They figured out the burger,
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 patties, sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. That's how I roll.
There's nothing you're doing now where it's like, oh, right, how did we miss that?
Right.
Maybe put a carrot on there.
Oh, man.
It needs, tomato, onion, lettuce, cheese, we're fine.
We're good.
Mustard, whatever. But yeah,
this
caramelized.
This new tinkering business.
Oh, we got to tinker with everything.
They have to tinker with everything. They made it worse, and somehow it caught on because food bloggers seem to like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like an onion raw, and I'll take it caramelized, but it's got no real business on the burger.
No business, but I think the idea is that in their mind, they're like, well, this is now it's a fancy burger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Artisan. It's like some type of magic that they're doing by caramelizing those onions.
Yeah, I think, and last on Kamala, she kind of gets that the media will run interference for her, like, no one's sitting down
Makes
and
you
going,
a little brazen.
Yeah, no one's going like, all right, let's just put this to bed. You said you worked at McDonald's. Trump says you didn't. Just tell us once and for all.
What's location?
Where is it? And show us a picture from back in the day, or have one of your friends, tell us she saw you in your uniform. Like, let's just put it to bed. Now, I don't think they're gonna do that because she's not gonna do it because she didn't do it. But it could be put to bed.
It seems
right?
like weird standards, though, because it's like Trump can get away with
You think
saying
there's a bit of a double standard?
Oh, yeah.
a big one. Where he says like 10 lies a minute. She says 9, and they're both like all jazzed up about it. Like, nobody. Everyone's calling her out for the McDonald's thing.
The difference is everybody knows Trump is a liar. Nobody knows Kamala Harris. Nobody knows Joe Biden is a liar. He's a huge liar. Like, I was in South Africa with Nelson Mandela trying to free him from. No, you weren't. You weren't. But okay, you lie too. But he's known. Trump is known as a liar. And Kamala Harris's whole thing is we're going to bring some dignity back.
So the public persona is incorrect, is what annoys you.
They're both liars.
Mm-hmm. But one of them, that's what everyone thinks.
Well, it was what bothered me about Ellen. You know what I mean?
Ellen.
I like
Page.
I like mean people. I like tough bosses. I like shitty people. I'm fine with that. I just didn't like the fact that people thought she was nice.
And it wasn't even. It was. If you ever, I was kind of had the original thought that you were saying, where it's like, what's the big deal, right? And then you watch the documentaries, you're like, she was getting an award for nicest person.
That's what I'm saying.
She's getting an award.
I was totally fine with George Steinbrenner. That guy was like, he owns the Yankees. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's all right. That's how he lives.
You can't then run your entire brand on how compassionate you are.
This is what I don't like. Yes, it's the part where you're running on integrity. And being this person while you're lying. That's the part that bothers. I don't mind that you lie. And I assume all politicians
this guy's
do.
a bit of a dick. You're allowed to be a dick.
I agree. I like a boss who's a dick. Makes me look better.
That's a whole culture. That's the Steve Jobs, right? But if Steve Jobs wanted to do a tour before he died about how nice he treated his employees and, did a big press tour about, and I would always know all their names. Like, everyone go, we all know that's not true.
First off, when I used to work construction after McDonald's, I had a foreman say to me once, his truck was parked up a hill driveway, like the top of the driveway, and a house in the Hollywood Hills we're working on. And he said to me, he goes, go to my truck and get my 4-foot level. And I said, okay. And I started walking to it, and he goes, run. And I was like, okay. I just started fucking running because he told me, run. That's who he was. Name is Mike Stramat, worked on a mine sweep in Vietnam and had issues with pain pills, and he wasn't in a good mood most of the time I worked for him.
Damn.
And I just did what he said to do because I was the fucking low man on the totem pole. I didn't really care. He was a dick. Fine.
But if you wouldn't like if this guy wrote a book on how to be compassionate to your employees.
If I found out that Mike Stramat authored a book on how to be friendly with employees, I would fucking be out of my mind.
Ellen's whole thing was, never let anyone bully. Like, there's nothing worse in the world than a bully. And it was like, and then you're, rubbing your 22-year-old fresh to LA's, employees' noses in their bad scripts.
I don't even know if I've ever been bullied. I feel like I've been constantly bullied, but I never called it bullied. I was just sort of, I was with Mayhem. I was just beaten down by life. You know what I mean? You work digging ditches on a construction site, you're de facto being bullied all day, every day. It's 104 degrees outside, and you're fucking standing in a ditch with Mexicans all day. That's bullying.
You're being bullied.
I'm the ultimate bully. It was called life. It was like sleeping on sharing a futon with another dude in an apartment that had no air conditioning. That bully. Done. Your work is done.
You might be able to weigh out on this and just shared a futon. I was doing videos about this because it's the funniest thing. Well, that's the question, because Abraham Lincoln allegedly shared a bed with a guy, and they made there's a biopic about Abraham Lincoln, and the title of the biopic is Lover of Men. It's all about how he's gay.
There's also one
if you died, would you be happy?
He's a great emancipator.
Yeah.
He's got a book out saying maybe gay. Also has
Adam
a movie
Carolla,
out.
2 men on a futon.
Also has a movie out where he hunted vampires.
It's not a biopic.
Well, we don't know. You don't know. You're from Canada, dude. Don't come in here and tell me about Abraham Lincoln. You want to talk about brash.
So you're on the side that he might be a little fancy, a little light in the loafers, potentially.
As a guy, I don't know if he possessed loafers. I feel like he was a boot man.
He was.
But as a guy who's done things that sound exquisitely gay.
Yeah.
That are
on paper.
Yeah. Very gay on paper. Super papery gay. Mm-hmm. As a guy who's been involved with a lot of that, I try not to cast judgment.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of stuff where it just has to be gay, but it's not.
Well, they've been casting judgment on Abe.
Well, what they don't what people don't realize is at a certain point, gay moves into hazing, like extreme hazing
moves into gay.
Extreme hazing becomes extreme homoerotica.
In a hockey dressing room, that was they tie the guy's dick up and they put it and they attach it to a bucket and then they shoot pucks in the bucket.
Right. Seems gay.
Well, it's definitely gay tying up the fucking dick.
But straight. No homo.
Nothing gay about it.
No diddy.
Frat hazing's all a little gay.
Oh, the stuff we would do, man. But, shared a futon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my own bed. Like, I didn't have any money, and I didn't really have
It was a functionality situation.
Yeah, also it was a one-bedroom.
Well, that's my point.
Three dudes living in a one bedroom.
Woo, 3 in a 1 bedroom.
3 in a 1, yeah. And one guy was on the sofa.
Probably fun times, though, right?
No.
It was pretty funny that when the guy shared the futon with, got with the chick who was kind of the neighborhood floozy.
Oh, sure.
And they were, getting down. But I knew she had eyes for me. So they're about halfway into it, and I just stepped out into the living room. I started rubbing her ass, and he just looked at me like, we didn't work any of this out. And I was like, well, it's going down now. And right at that moment, there was on their apartment door, it was 12:30 on a Saturday night, and it was the other town floozy, and she was like, where's your other roommate, Chris? I'm like, he's out pounding the third town floozy.
The third floozy.
And she's like, well, I got nowhere to be. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me get my pants. I'm going with you. So we just, I left with her. So it was bullet dodge. But, no homo, pretty straight stuff going on over there. But yeah, it always the lines got blurry into the gay activity.
Of course, but then on paper, if they're writing a biography about you 500 years later, if they want, they can paint the story they want to paint.
Oh, when Kamala Harris's scribes write the story of Adam Carolla one day, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah,
not at all. That I used to. They do those shows every once in a while, like this 2020 with the hazing on the football team. And they held the one freshman guy down and the other guys did something called teabagging. And I'm like, yeah, all right, that's healthy. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday.
That used to be in the band van world. Teabagging was pretty common.
Yeah. You did it to fuck with the guy. That's what you did.
I know.
Yeah.
You always just hope one of your boys from back in the day doesn't become like a Terry Crews where he goes on and wants to expose and then they put their testicles on my face. You go, when you say it like that, it sounds bad. Yes.
Well, also the thing that's funny is when the chick from 48 Hours or 2020 is doing the interview, she's reading the testimonial, right? And then she goes, and they held your son down and did something called teabagging. Now, I'm not familiar with that term. Can you? Because she doesn't want to say she knows what it is.
Yeah.
But bitch, you had a segment producer line you out on this shit 3 weeks ago. If you were reading so if I'm reading this alleged crime that took place, and I don't know what if they pulled a girlfriend snurf, I would go, hello, segment producer. What is a girlfriend snurf? Because I need to know because I'm going to interview.
I'm about to say this, yeah.
Right. So don't sit there and pretend you don't know what fucking teabagging is, bitch. You had a segment producer tell you what teabagging was before the segment was shot, or you're not doing your job. It's one or the other.
Another lie. Our big one was
a brazen lie, a bold face, brash and brazen lie.
We were traveling, touring in the band in the phone days. So the big one was taking everyone's computers and phones and then taking a picture of your dick on them. So it's like every time anyone opened up their computer, it's like someone's balls.
Oh yeah, listen, the old school version of that was like I remember Liz Eskoff's, Sweet 16 or whatever. They had the camera, the old school camera. It's like sitting around. She goes right into the bathroom, take a bunch of up close sack shots with it, and then just put it right back on the counter. So they got to take the shit down to the thrifties to have the stuff developed, and then they get a whole pack, and then they got my buddies raised balls like in the middle.
That's harassment now, I believe.
Oh, I don't think they they frown on that.
Works better in an all-male workplace for sure.
Yeah, but no homo.
Zero homo.
We got some more news,
guys.
Yeah, okay.
Alleged NYC scammers, violent car crash caught on dash cam. Yeah, we should have this up if you guys are awake back there.
NYC scammers.
Yep.
Oh, this one. Oh, this one's kind of crazy.
It's racked up 35 million views.
Oh, because they...
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So they're slamming on the brakes.
Right.
And then backing up.
What happened, babe?
This is brazen.
That's brash.
Oh, what is he doing?
Babe, what happened?
I like that he's got a CB in their car.
And a dash cam.
What's your handle?
Exactly.
What's the scam?
All right, so stop it. All right, so let me say, they used to do it out here all the time. It happened to one of my
swoop and stop
friends. So anytime there's an accident and somebody's rear-ended, it's the fault of the person who's driving from behind.
Yeah.
It's 100% their fault. That's the way the law works.
It's an insurance scam.
Exactly.
Right. So they slide. So you go down an open highway. It's not going to work in traffic. If you go down an open highway, you have to slide in and slam the brakes on, letting them hit you. But they don't. But the person didn't hit them. By the way, at this point,
whoa.
At this point, go find another. Find another sucker. You failed. But they stopped.
Sure.
They put it in reverse. They smashed into them. Then they're going to pull forward and stop and get out of the car holding their neck.
Yeah.
Now, in my world, these people are incinerated. Like they're thrown into a volcano.
Sure.
Like I just go, I don't care. I don't care how many kids you have. I don't care how much life you have to live. I don't care who you are. You're the worst person ever. We cannot have this. We can't have you.
It's a woman?
Yeah, well, they switched. The driver that's the interesting part, is that they put up a tarp, if you notice, and then the man switched with the woman really quick.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes, because he probably has the skill to do this maneuver, and they made it out. He probably has a dirty record. I don't know. It doesn't say.
There's a whole squad involved in this.
Exactly.
So there's 4 people, which can mean 4 whiplash and 4 neck aches and whatever.
Yep.
And
Insurance.
so now there's an issue, and they're getting the driver's license.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
I would have held off on the dash cam reveal until we got inside the courtroom myself. But anyway, these people should all be executed publicly. They should. It's the worst of the fucking worst. We don't need them. They're not doing anything. Yes.
No. Yeah, they're not. Next up, U.S. judges have a social media problem. 2 judges have been suspended for social media posts as ethic panels continue to crack down on online content.
What panels?
Ethics.
Ethics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're being disciplined for, I guess, just posting sort of liberal type memes, I guess.
Liberal memes.
Is the idea they're not supposed to be partisan? Is that the idea?
That's exactly right, because what they say here is that apparently, even if a judge is acting as a private citizen, ethical rules can limit political speech if it furthers the state's interest in an independent and impartial judiciary.
So if you're going to be a judge, you can't post dank memes. That's the game.
Totally right. Yeah, that's what they've decided.
What are some
here.
examples? Do we have any examples?
Maybe they didn't give them specific. If Joe,
I feel like I would like to know, because I'll decide when someone's crossed the line. Now,
no, you're right.
Can you imagine? I would be the worst fucking grifter in the world. They'd be like, come on, we're getting in the Camry. We're all going to go fake getting rear-ended. I'd be like,
Damn it, guys.
Can't we just get jobs somewhere? Like, no, we're gonna do a thing, and I'd go like, I'm gonna break. I'm gonna get out of the car, and they're gonna go, and I'm gonna go. I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
That's not really my sister or my mom. You know what?
They made me.
I was a pretty good ball player in high school, and I had a lot going for me, and I'm I start sharing a futon with a dude, and no homo, but I'm really a decent dude. I'm actually kind of funny, if you get to know me. I just feel weird.
I'll let you guys work your thing.
Yeah, you guys work it out. I don't even. Just give me like $80. Like, I don't want to fucking sue anybody. I don't want to lawyer up. Yeah. God. So I guess we all need a dash cam.
Yeah, we do
now, right?
But back to the judges. I forgot about this part that he was. This judge in particular, Wilcox, he's like wearing his judicial robes, and other videos he's in his court chambers. This guy right here, he lip synced to Rihanna, Miguel, and Busta Rhymes, and so he kind of was like doing TikTok rap videos, and yeah, so suddenly
everyone's got to be an influencer.
Where we're at. Yeah,
why does I don't know why.
The best influencers who you'd probably love is there's a bunch of women online that have become they're psychopath influencers. They're like, I'm a narcissist, or I'm like a diagnosed psychopath.
Really?
And they have whole channels about how they're
really. Well, what are they saying?
They're mainly like what life's like being a psychopath. Some of them tied into feminism, like, you know what I mean, in a sort of a weird way.
But
they're like, I'm a sociopath, I'm a narcissist, I'm a psychopath, diagnosed psychopath, and they have these whole. They have whole channels basically like, day to day in the life of a psychopath, and they have, these big followings, and
really
hilarious thing to be an influencer.
How does it manifest itself being a psychopath?
Oh, they'll be like, this is how, a lot of them will be like, these are the kind of mental games that I used to play to scam people. This is, they're
like reformed psychopaths.
Usually not, no.
Oh, really?
Now, but I think that now that they have their influencer thing, they're kind of like open about their tricks to be like, these are the things to watch out for. But that's a small part of it. I don't want to give it the impression that they're only reformed. They're mostly like, it's more like the way that someone would be a depression influencer, like life is a depression. It's like, what was me? I didn't ask to be a narcissist. I was diagnosed this way, and this is how hard it is.
Oh. White hat psychopaths.
What's a website we could?
TikTok.
They're all
it's
TikTokers.
TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, if you type in like the articles, if you type in like,
TikTok psychos.
I'm a narcissist, I'm a psychopath, like there's tons of articles. I don't know their names enough to find them, but it's a big thing that's happening right now.
Too many people filming themselves doing not
far
enough,
too
right?
many. And then you can find any influencer. There's, just like what you used to do when you were on the construction site. You'd have some bozo on that site filming for his TikTok channel now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
One time I wanted to bring up, which I thought was funny, is I never got to it, but I was saying that I would go to those sites where they would talk about fixing stuff, because I can fix anything, but I lived in a house with a septic tank, and like the light was going off on the septic tank. I don't know anything about septic. So I went online to find the guy. It was like the septic tank whisperer.
Yeah.
And he was like this 30-year-old dude, and he's like, I'll tell you how septic tank works and how you got to flush them and how you got to clean them and stuff like that. But he had an earring. And I was like, is that helping? Like, your profession is shit. If it's shit, your profession is cleaning septic tanks, but you got
a sexy possession.
But you got the stud, and does that get you over the top with the ladies? Like after giving them the talk about cleaning septic tanks all day, but they see that 1 carat stud in your left ear and go, now I think I can lay down with that guy. Like, and now, are you into the aesthetic? You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like the guys. Sometimes you'll see like the UPS guy with the sweatbands on and the sleeves rolled up. It's like,
looking
you
cool.
Still work at UPS. You drive a truck for a living. You can't escape this. You're not a DB in the NFL. You know what I mean? We don't need to accessorize. You clean septic tanks for a living and
working class
troubleshoot
jobs don't need to accessorize as
We don't need the stud earring. Or maybe you do. Maybe the NBA baller with the stud is the guy who doesn't need the stud in the septic. Maybe we start
you can do it. Get a bunch of tattoos. You don't have to go the one stud. You get a neck tattoo if you're going to be.
Yeah.
I think a blue-collar guy wear uniform, he got to stand out. Like, he has to, like, part of your uniform is being outside of your uniform. I think the guys are looking for individuality, and yeah, it's not the most glamorous job, but he gets paid, obviously, to,
I couldn't even hear what this guy was saying. I was looking at his stud earring the whole time, wondering, like, when did he was that pre-septic?
Yeah.
For him, is that like a high school move, or did he get into septic and start making so much cash that he had to lay down some for some jewelry, Yeah, I didn't. I got very distracted by the stud and the septic. All right.
Thinking of changing jobs, an Olympic snowboarder wanted for running murderous drug trafficking operation. The FBI
It's a good
says.
movie, though.
That guy could have an earring.
Yeah, Ryan James Wedding, 43, represented Canada in the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. And now prosecutors allege that his operation shipped as much as 827 pounds of cocaine in a single month, moving it from Mexico to Southern California. So he basically supplied the Los Angeles area with cocaine, kilograms after kilograms of cocaine, a transnational drug trafficking operation where they brought it here to Los Angeles and then shipped it up to Ontario, Canada.
I like the fact, a good link, right? He had all the people on the resorts. He's down with the snowboard culture. That's a good way to sell drugs.
Yep.
I like that snowboarding is a job.
Oh, yeah.
That's an actual job.
Some of these guys crushing it now, too.
I know. I
would say everything of that is all owed to Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah,
I think
which
you're right.
led to the snowboarding games, which led to it being an Olympic sport, which led to these guys being big celebrities.
Totally right.
All right, we got another Ryan out there, Nemeth, and also Nic as well. Professional wrestlers, stand-up comedians as well. So we're going to give Ryan Long a plug and tell you that his special Problem Solved is available on YouTube as we speak. Go out and watch it for free, right, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely pop over there and watch it. I think you're going to like it. I think it's really good.
I'm going to check it out.
You can catch me this weekend, Philadelphia, Nashville, next weekend, Chicago, Las Vegas, Minneapolis after that. But yeah, special. YouTube.com/Ryan Long Comedy. Appreciate it.
I'm going to be in Covina at the Laugh Factory doing stand-up this Friday and Saturday as well, so you can come out, say hi there. All right, quick break.
Oh, you're at the Laugh Factory Friday? If I'm still here, I'll come by.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
In Covina, though.
Oh. Never mind.
I told my assistant, I said, how long is it going to take for me to get to Malibu to Covina to do 2 shows at the Laugh Factory on Friday if I leave at first show 7? You know, I go, when do I have to leave? He goes, 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I go, driving 2, and he goes, yeah, it's 43 miles.
Yeah, those are almost worse than just taking a plane at that point.
At that point, yeah. So I got to work that out. All right. We'll talk to the brothers right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, they're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and the parts and knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. I've been using these guys for a million years. You know, I'm a car guy. I used them way before I got into show business, that's for sure, and I use them now. They've got thousands of parts, accessories in stock, either in store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free, and they can do it in your car. You don't have to pull it from your car. If it needs to be replaced, well, they'll help you find the right battery for your vehicle. Need your windshield wipers replaced, a brake light fixed, maybe a quick service. They'll help you find the right part at the right price point. And if not, they'll help you find the nearest local repair shop to help you as well. Whether you're an aficionado of the automobile like I am, or auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, friendly. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and can find you what you need in-store or online. It's O'Reilly Auto Parts. Election Day is coming up. November 5th, if memory serves, and that's where sendthevote.org comes in. 30% of registered voters do not turn out to vote, and only 23% of people under 30 voted in the last election. Come on, America. Come on, youngsters. We got to do better than that. Sendthevote.org/Adam makes registering to vote very easy. It's nonpartisan. They don't care who you're voting for. They just want to ensure that you vote because you're an American. It's your civic duty. Head over to sendthevote.org/Adam and they'll help you sign up, register, and they'll check and make sure you're all set to go. You can also text Adam to 33022. That's 33022 to learn more. That's ADAM to 33022. Don't be another no-show statistic. Let's get it done this year at sendthevote.org/Adam. Tommy John. Well, here's a simple life hack. Upgrade with Tommy John. You'll do everything much better because you'll be much more comfortable with Tommy John. Their Second Skin underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like a supportive contour pouch and horizontal quick draw fly, plus breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Over 20 million pairs sold. Hundreds, nay, thousands of 5-star reviews. Tommy John doesn't have customers, they have fanatics. I know, I'm a Tommy John fanatic. I'm wearing mine right now. I will not wear anything other than Tommy John. I don't have the heart to throw out some of the old underwear I had because I paid way too much. I guess I'll just use it for a car rag, do my rims or something. They have a guarantee. It's called the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free. They're the best. They're Tommy John, right, Dawson?
Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. Save 20% on Second Skin at TommyJohn.com/Adam. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details. In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
On plate, he greets the umpire, he greets the opposing manager and all that, but the Shohei Ohtani effect has been incredible. How about, all right, what's the language, guy?
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Yeah, the whole point is the language in that particular exchange. Ryan and Nic Nemeth, they're both here. Sorry to say Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. I got the other Ryan screwed up in my head. Sorry. Professional wrestlers, professional stand-up comedians. I'm guessing wrestling came first, but you can tell me.
There was no stand-up in kindergarten, first grade for us. So
were you wrestling? Were you wrestling in first grade?
Yeah. So my dad took me to a show. We're from Cleveland, Ohio. And
there you go.
My dad took me to a show. It was in Richfield Coliseum. It's where the Cavs played. Like, you didn't have an arena in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I went at 5 years old, and I went and I said, I want to do this. And my dad goes, okay, I'll sign you up for wrestling. So I had a weird birthday. It's a summertime birthday. So first grade, I was still 5, but I started wrestling right away. And no joke, I walked in and I thought there would be a big ring and stuff, and it's just a mat on the ground, and you're learning, and I go, oh, this is different.
And that's just boring wrestling, right?
Especially at first when you're thinking WWF and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. You want the steel chair and the Undertaker.
Yeah, right. You're just doing one-leg drop steps from end to end. You're like, this sucks.
Oh, you guys are from Ohio, so it's RCW and whatnot out there, or
AIW is Cleveland now. It used to be
I don't know.
Cleveland All-Pro.
Firestorm Pro, Cleveland All Pro, AIW.
There's a couple different ones out there.
Your dad took you to wrestling when you were 5, which means he wanted to see wrestling because no one really cares when you're 5. Kids, they do whatever they do. Like, I would take my son out whoring and drinking when he's 5, but not for him.
They take babies to Disney. They're like, they just wanted the experience. Like,
for us. Your dad wanted to watch wrestling, right?
Yes.
Do you remember who fought?
I only remember 2 things. There was a steel cage match with the British Bulldogs versus the Hart Foundation. And if you're a wrestling fan, you know those guys. And the main event was Hulk Hogan versus King Harley Race. And Harley Race is an old school guy. So those are the only 2 things. And I have like a still in my mind. But that was it. That's all I remember is that. I go, oh, man, I want to do this.
So your dad wasn't a college professor?
No, poet laureate.
No, valedictorian. I know the type. Free ride to Stanford. Academic ride.
Exactly.
Yes. What's your dad drive? 2 trucks?
Truck driver.
Basically.
Oh, what a shocker. Is everyone sitting down?
He was, at one point, he was driving a cement truck, but 18-wheelers, cement truck, train
Cement
parts.
truck is like driving 2 trucks.
Yeah, that's true.
It is. I've never been more correct about a truck driver. Because you could work for UPS, but that's not driving a truck.
Right.
You know,
that's delivering. You're delivering.
Your dad drove a truck, man, and a cement mixer.
Yes. Rotating.
I got to ride it that one time.
Oh, nice.
You got to ride in the mixer?
I was coming home from, I don't know if it was like Christmas or Thanksgiving break. He picked me up at wherever I was coming from, and he goes, hey, look for the cement mixer. I thought he was kidding. It was the literal cement mixer. And I sat, there's no passenger seat. I sat on a pile of cables like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool, though. I got to see, he took me to the place where they, like, rinse it out, and I'm, like, 21 going, this is fucking awesome. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the cement mixer works that it has sort of spirally spines in it, and it works. You turn one direction, nothing happens. You turn the other direction, it starts conveying the stuff out of there, sort of spline drivey, or not. Well, I'll think of it.
If you don't rinse it though every day,
oh my God!
Of course,
you got to get in there with a sledgehammer if you let it go overnight. Does your and your dad drove the old school cement mixers for the new ones that got that weird extra set of wheels that come down in the back?
Oh yeah,
your dad was no puss. He would have gone with that.
No wheelie bars for his one. Yeah, for his truck. No.
And he drove an 18-wheeler, and he'd do the horn and everything. Big air horn.
I assume.
Yes.
Yes,
of course. Well, if you gave him the arm pull, you got to give the signal.
Driving a truck, an 18-wheeler was romantic back in the day. They made movies about those guys. They had theme songs. They had CB songs. They had trucker songs. It was like you were a cult hero.
Convoy.
Right. Jan Michael Vincent starred in White Line Fever. Your dad probably has it on Blu-ray.
Maybe VHS.
If he knew what Blu-ray was.
Oh, you're right.
Blu-ray, easy, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so you come from the hard scrabble, blue-collar world, right?
You know, we got our dad involved in a few wrestling matches, so now I'm trying to... What you just said rings really true. It's like full circle, of course.
Yes.
He always wanted to be part of the show.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. How'd you get your dad involved with the matches?
Well, first you trick him a little bit. It's like, hey, do you want to come out and hang out? We'll get some beers and get some dinner.
He loves beer.
Yes.
Oh, what? My world is turned upside down.
He's a truck driver who loves drinking beer.
Wow.
We got him to come out to LA. Actually, there was a show, and it was like, hey, we want to come out and hang out with us. Why don't you come to the show, watch it? We'll get a couple beers, and you can relax, whatever. I said, hey, if something happens, maybe you could be involved. Yeah, maybe. He goes, I don't think so. I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
If something happens, meanwhile, we know what's happening.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ryan is buying fake bottles of glass beer to get smashed on someone's head.
Just in case something happens. Yeah.
Right. But we brought him out, did a show at GCW, which is out here, and we said, hey, if you can have this beer in your hand, but can you hold this fake sugar glass bottle, because Ryan went to a movie place to grab some, and if somebody gets involved and shoves you, get your face smashed on their head, okay? Yeah, no big deal. So we
just be ready.
In case that happens.
In case that happens at minute 17 in match number 3.
When I stomp on your foot and say now and wink, and then no, he smashed it with a beer bottle against my opponent. Ryan ran in, we did this whole match, and at the end they stole his bottle away to smash it again on somebody else. But he got involved, helped us win.
And he took center stage after the match.
After the match,
wow.
He found the cameras right away, held us up in the middle, was like, yeah, he was like yelling his website out. No, I'm just kidding, he didn't have a website.
Did you guys, did you watch the Mr. McMahon docuseries?
I co-host a radio show on Sirius, and I had to do some homework and watch it. And I watched it all in one day. And for someone who's been around and knows the business and been seeing all the stories, except for the last 20 minutes, it was kind of just
it's unsurprising to me, too.
Very unsurprising. And there was a couple moments where I was like, oh, that's interesting, but I didn't learn much. If you already know some stuff, you know about them. And then the last half of one episode was based on all the allegations and everything that's going down with them now. But
the podcast, by the way, I should tell people.
Please.
Nemeth Bros, NEMETH Bros, pop culture, wrestling, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find finer podcasts as well. So you knew what you were going to be doing early early on, but you started off in wrestling.
Yes. The real wrestling. But also I figured, my dad said, he goes, if you get good at this, maybe, if you're not 6'8" and 300 pounds, you might have a shot because you have a legitimate background. And I said, okay. So I stuck with it all the way through. And the whole reason I went wrestled in high school and college was that one day Vince McMahon could Google my name and say all-time winningest wrestler, Division I, Kent State, just so I could have a shot at a tryout.
Really?
Yes.
So all-time division at Kent State? You brag a little bit.
It eventually got broken, but the entire reason I wanted it for at least a year was to be like, hey, Google my name, MFers. Like, I'm 6 foot, 195 pounds, but if you Google my name, I can tap all your buddies out. So what we could do. So it helped me get a tryout. Kurt Angle kicking ass at the time. This is 20 years ago.
Right.
Kurt Angle being awesome and going, hey, you don't have to be 6'5", 300. If you love it and you want to do it and you have a background, you got a shot. They gave me a tryout, and eventually it all worked out for me.
So you wrestled at 195?
I weighed 195 at the time. I wrestled 165 in college.
Wow.
But we both went to St. Ed's High School, and randomly, we grew up 15 minutes away from it, and St. Edward High School wasn't state champions. They were national champions.
Wow.
Two out of the 4 years, 2 of the 4 years I was there, national champs. We had people to go on to be Olympians, MMA champs, national champions. I was pretty good. I wasn't that level, but I got a little bit better in college. But we both went to this absolute wrestling powerhouse.
And Phil Donahue went there. Unrelated.
and Phil Donahue.
He did not wrestle, but
as far as you know.
He might have. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I went to North Hollywood High. We didn't even have wrestling.
So many places don't even have them. Yeah,
it's so weird. We didn't have wrestling.
So it's not a sport that has cheerleaders or popularity. Like you can be the best in college, and there's not a job after that.
Right.
There's no track.
Yeah, but I gotta say that wrestling background is a great base for grit, and it's like so my problem is every male under 40 is a fucking pussy now. It's just so fucking, it's weak fucking sauce all the way around. And I grew up playing football, then I construction and boxing. So it's like I was used to whatever, whenever, all the time.
Doing
and
the
I'm
same
not
thing over and over again. You can
and being ground into the ground, I didn't care, and like now I'm talking to people and I'm going, hey, I need you to move your car. And they go, I have anxiety about that. And I go, what's coming out of your mouth? I'm telling you I have anxiety. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was you're not even allowed to have anxiety until you got to be over 40. and so the wrestling background is super disciplined because of the insanity of wrestling at a high level. I'm not talking about Vince McMahon. I'm talking about cutting weight, making weight. I mean, I would say the same for Mayhem and MMA. And it would be the same if you were on the crew team. Like, we had to be in the water by 6 a.m. every day. And we fucking rode for 2 hours. And then we went into the weight room. And then we did our classes. And then we met back at 5 o'clock to do more crew stuff. And then later on, that person becomes an employee, but they become a good employee because they don't have what everyone has now, which is some sort of weird narcissistic up in their head. And then you take that and you apply it to everything, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's what really helped me because one, St. Ed's was a good school, but also when you're so focused on that and you know there's almost no glory for it, even at a school like we went to that has we fill a gym. Every other school, it's a couple people's girlfriends were in the crowd. It's like 8 people.
And they're always on the verge of losing the team because
and it's like next year the team's gone and have charity from the parents and stuff. So we got through that and made it. So I really think anyone who did not just grade school wrestling, you get through a little bit of high school and college where it's competitive, and you not only you have to focus on I'm not eating tonight, or I'm cutting my weight, or I'm not eating desserts. Like grown-ups do a cheat day. Like I'm not doing this for the next 3 weeks to get ready for this. And it really, once you're out of it, it really does make you're somehow a little tougher than almost everybody else, and it really makes you a better person long term. I'm so glad I went to that school. I'm so glad I focused on everything. Even in the summertime, sometimes you go to camps, you're like, man, everyone's having fun on summer vacation. I still got a month and a half of it, but a month and a half it was just keeping in shape and being ready to go, and I feel like made me a much more always ready to go and do anything and challenge anything and tackle it.
I think about anything physical that's been hard. High school wrestling, I played rugby in college. I didn't wrestle in college. And then WWE, like, the tryout for WWE, I had to be in the ring for 37 minutes straight, just going with everybody, like every man in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was physically the hardest thing ever in pro wrestling. And even so, I would say one practice at St. Ed's when I was 15. Nothing has ever been harder than a high school wrestling practice.
Yes.
Yeah. Ever. Like, never.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of young men really experience out and out misery. Like real
Every
misery.
muscle dying, you know, like
just sucking gas, cotton mouth, can't form speech anymore.
Yeah, we had Wednesday drills. I'll chip in here. Wednesday drills where it's back drills for 1 hour. So you pop down, somebody tries to choke you for 1 hour, turn the heat on, close all the doors. So not only are you just drowning in sweat, bloody hot and getting choked, and then you have to go to your car after being choked 40 times and just sit there and do I really want to do this?
Yes.
It's like, this is my life, you know, one of those. Yeah, it definitely changes your mindset.
I'm older than you guys, so I did a lot of this crap when they thought water was bad for you.
That's true.
Just full pads 2-a-days in the San Fernando Valley, and they're like, "Gentlemen, no water. You're going to cramp up." That was their whole thing.
The water will poison you. It's poison.
I fantasized, literally thought, we worked, Pop Warner and all that, but we went to North Hollywood Park, and I used to have these daydreams about digging a hole and hiding water like the night before, like going to the park and like making a hole. And then when they would tell us we got to run laps, I would find the hole and somehow pull my water out. Like these were fantasies about
but then you
water.
cramp up.
Yeah. Cramp up.
My God.
They would send us on laps, and the laps were the 4 baseball diamonds at North Hollywood Park or wherever we were. Studio City Park at the time, and each baseball diamond had a drinking fountain behind it. And they go down to that drinking fountain, turn left, go the next one, and they go, if I see anybody, stop at that drinking fountain. Like, I was like, why are you torturing us? Why are you torturing us? We're 11. What are you doing to us?
No water.
There was one time after practice, I think sophomore year, I think I just mindlessly went to the water fountain that was in that little closet and took a sip and then immediately went, no, what did I do?
Cramp it up.
You're going to cramp.
The last 2 hours were to sweat, and now I just undid everything by drinking water.
I've been there.
You're cutting weight.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, shit.
It's like you got rabies. You got to be afraid of water.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to.
We're talking about the physical stuff, but like about the showmanship side of wrestling, like what type of training do they give you guys as far as cutting promos and because there's a lot of acting. I really respect the art of cutting promos.
Ryan had a really good coach for when it came to promos.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest of all time, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's like one of the greatest. Bring you in and feed off the realness and having the smoothest promos of all time. And
he would always
bringing you.
He would kind of scoff at the wrestling part of it a little bit, like. The 5 other trainers are all about in-ring, learning the stuff, and he'd be like, yeah, anyways.
It's all about charisma.
Whatever, man, because if you don't have this part, that's never happening or going to matter.
The least important part of professional wrestling is the wrestling. That's my take. That's not everybody's, but it's like, if you we can bring a monkey in from the streets, and in a couple of months, he can do some of the moves that we're doing.
Body slam,
yes.
Whatever.
But if you can get something where there's like, we're pulling the crowd into you, or everything you say, people are sitting on your every word, or when you're getting beat up, they go, man, this guy's really getting beat up. I have to help him. Or when you're kicking someone's ass, you're like, that guy is kicking his ass. What a badass. This is real. So you have all those pieces, and you have to be able to like basically do a movie script with ups and downs into a finish, and then have everybody be on it, and hopefully you got them on that last beat.
But my question is the technical aspects of how they taught it to you. Because you know it now and it's second nature. But at the beginning, when you were, getting into the business, how did they instill in you how to do that storytelling?
Well, Dusty would always tell us we're not making wrestling TV, we're making movies. He would just call it that and say everything must be cinematic. And so you'd be fit into an archetype of what you are, and then look up all the people from the past who are amazing at it and just study them. And then, you know, it's maybe like any other kind of art form, music, comedy, acting, whatever. You kind of just copy someone for a while until you find out what you are. It's sort of like that. But we would, every Wednesday, everybody would get up in front of the whole roster and staff and do a promo or a character or an interview. And then he would, in front of everyone, it was like American Idol, he would just like tell you why that sucked, why that was good.
It was a classroom, like, or it was in the ring?
No,
it was in the
ours
ring
was
setting?
in the arena. The ring was behind you, and camera, we're filming it as if it were live, you know, on TV, and you would get a on the spot, you know, critique of why this was
great.
good. Yeah, it was.
Isn't that
really
harder than? I mean, myself personally, sometimes they'd go like doing some award show or something. They'd go, "Well, come in the day before and let's do the monologue," but no audience. And I was always it was always so self-conscious and like it's not gonna be good. And I feel I would much rather have 10,000 people in there than nobody critiquing. We'll just run the monologue. Like it's never going to work. I'm not going to want to do it. I'll be worse at it and more. I'll be more nervous to do it with an empty arena than I would with a filled arena. So you guys must feel that, right?
Well, I guess their point was if you can't do it in front of us, we're not going to waste time and money and put you in front of us.
Oh, they're right. I just hated that part of the show business.
Open mic.
Yeah, we
like,
way better to have a giant arena.
Right,
for sure.
and what I was originally taught, because business evolves every 10, 20 years, whatever it is. I was taught, like, when someone put your arm behind your back, I came from collegiate wrestling where you like, if my shoulder went out, I don't want anyone to know. But in this, when someone puts your arm behind your back, you want to let all four sides of the arena go, ow, my shoulder hurts, like that.
It's right here.
Yes, and then that was the end of that as I was being taught, and we're going reality-based to have those different things happen. But like just to have the reality of it and focus on it when you're first there, it's like, oh, now I understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And we had COVID times too. We were doing live television shows in an empty studio like this with no crowd reactions, no people, and it's just we feed off that. If everyone's quiet, you're like, hey, this match sucks. If everyone's loving it, go, here's what we do. Here's how you modify it. Here's what you change. We were in a silent movie studio doing a match. You slam somebody, and go, hell yeah, and it's just quiet.
What was that? I mean,
the worst.
You guys, I know Mayhem's been to Japan.
Yeah, that's strange.
Fought. I know that because, you know, probably the biggest upset in all of combat sports was Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. I mean, Tyson was like a 50-1 favorite, right? And Buster Douglas is doubling up on those jabs and throwing that upper hook, and he's like doubling up on the jab and throwing the cross right on top of it, and it's all working. But it's in Japan, and it's
dead
silent.
silent.
So you're watching the biggest sport. You know, if that was in Detroit, there'd be guys dressed in fur coats, like standing on full pimp, screaming at the top of their lungs. You got Buster Douglas doing the biggest upset in boxing history in a silent place, and it was eerie and weird, and also kind of took away from the experience because people, you know, we got knocked down at the end, and he was looking for his mouthpiece and stuff. People should have been going out of their fucking mind.
No, I got used to it. It's a weird respect thing there, where they're watching the art of it, so they understand, and they will react. I knew when I did something really great that I was like, you'd hear like one guy, oh, heavy, and like I'm like, oh, okay, that was good then. Yeah,
that is one of the biggest ones because you get silence for even a great choreographed spot or a big knockout to the face, but then when you get something, you hear, that is the one, and then you get like, all right,
polite applause.
So strange.
So, and by the way, I got ripped off on that Douglas fight because so many Tyson's fights, Don King was like, it was $59, and he's like, sorry, okay. Every round, it's $10.95 or something, just in case it goes one. And that's the one that went like 8 or 9 rounds, just to like stick it to us. I'm pretty sure.
You ended up paying, you know, $75 or $80.
The cutoff went up to 59 or something. But
it
was like,
really?
Just in case this goes one round, it's 9. And then looking back, I go, I should have known better when he says, don't worry, it's $10 a round. Yeah. It's going 10 rounds now.
The great Don King.
Yeah, we're like, man, $60. Like, we can't do it again for another 30 seconds of Tyson knocking somebody out. But we're set this time. $10, okay. And it's like, of course, it goes 8 rounds.
Yeah, Buster was amazing. And I guess and they do a thing like his mom died and he was fighting on her, whatever. I don't know if that would help me if my mom died. I don't know if I'm taking Tyson out. I'm pissed. Chris Carolla was a good woman. She would have wanted this.
She would have wanted this.
She wanted me to fucking open a can of whoop ass on Tyson. If she were here, that's what she would have said.
My God. But I still, when you said I'm looking for his mouth guard, that's still burned into my brain.
It
he
is.
Can't pick up his mouth guard with his gloves. And I go, I've never seen this killer like this before. Holy shit.
Yeah. I know. It was an incredible tableau to see him look as vulnerable in that state. And also didn't need the mouth guard that could have popped up and bought himself another couple of seconds. First off,
exactly.
They have to go rinse it out.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see? Oh God.
Oh.
One of the greatest. All right, you ready? Somebody?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try. I may have a senior moment here, but Goosen was the trainer. Maybe it was Dan Goosen.
Yeah.
And the Goosen had a gym in North Hollywood, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And he was training a Hispanic fighter who was pretty unbeaten. It's two Hispanic guys. Like it's really like the greatest. It's the mouthpiece fight. The guy would spit his mouthpiece out. So he's getting pummeled against the ropes, and the guy's about to step in, and he just spits the mouthpiece out. And then the ref has to pick up the mouthpiece. Yeah. Instead of put it back in his mouth, he's got to go walk it over to the corner.
I'm almost respecting this move, by the way.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, not Castillo. Is it Castillo? And then Goosen, the guy who's training the guy who's about to get dropped, goes, I didn't bring any water here. And he's trying to buy his guy.
Seconds every step of the way.
I dug a hole outside where I hid some water.
Castillo versus Corrales. And then he's like, I don't know, maybe I could use my sleeve or something. And then he puts it back, and then he spits it out again.
Oh, my God.
And the ref's like, hold up, let me clean this up. And he's walking by, and Goose is like, hey, what are we doing? He's just trying to buy time. Right. And then he gets the mouthpiece back to Corrales. I think it was Corrales. And then Corrales gets his shit together and knocks Castillo out.
No shit.
Oh,
It worked.
The craziest.
It worked. The gambit.
And
I
then
respect it.
Corrales died in a motorcycle accident in New Mexico, like a year and a half later. But the guy was a crazy fighter. Just show the last minute of that round. Someone watch Corrales and Castillo. I mean, they're both sort of unbeaten and both the baddest 145 pounders and the whatever. And
fighters. But Castillo.
Oh, I remember this so vividly.
He's never been down.
He's never been down.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
These back when these were wars. Wars.
Left hook from Corrales. Castillo's wobbly.
All right, sorry. That's the end of the fight. But before that, Castillo was spitting the mouthpiece. Was spitting the mouthpiece out because he's getting destroyed.
I was like, after 6 of those straight, I go, you spit that mouthpiece, not going to happen here. That's too late.
There's another one. I think he will be taken.
I think he will. You're right.
Oh God, they used to have these kind of boxing.
Whoa!
Damn, upper hook.
Yeah. Left hook to the face for Castillo.
And you can see Dan Goosen will be in his very festive shirt. Are you all right?
Are you all right?
I've had better days.
He'll get a few extra seconds.
There's
here.
Dan Goosen.
Oh, baby.
Huh? What do you want to do with the mouth?
Smartly,
listen.
very slowly.
Very slowly puts his mouthpiece back.
And spit it right out.
Corrales in deep trouble, obviously. He's in big trouble. I think he's done.
You think he's done?
Jeez.
Wow. Now he spits his mouthpiece out again. And the ref should just put it back.
Right.
Yeah. In MMA, they do.
Yeah.
This guy just drank 4 quarts of his own blood.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. I'm good.
Yeah. Why ask it? How are you doing? You doing good? I'm doing good.
I'm a bit hungry, but I can eat.
How's Lorena? She good?
For spitting out the mouthpiece. Losing the mouthpiece twice.
Goosen's like,
he didn't even know what happened.
What?
Like, I just washed it off.
I only got so much mouthpiece wash left in this bucket. All right, he goes on, goes on to win this fight.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That's unheard
he's
of.
Out on his fucking feet in this fight.
I think in 2024 this would have been stopped 4 other times before the mouthpiece.
Right,
part.
maybe. Yeah.
Right. He goes on. He goes on to win this goddamn fight.
That's
what
crazy.
a fucking warrior! This.
Yeah, for sure.
And then goes on and dies in a motorcycle accident like 2 years later. Jesus, what is it that this is what a boxer is? I mean, this is what that thing is.
Yeah.
This is. He comes back and wins.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Emmy, ever see this fight? It's the fucking
Sure
greatest
have,
fight
it's great.
ever. Oh my God. By the way, this is why we like Mexicans fighting and not Jews. They fucking leave it all on the canvas. And there's Goose, and Goose is like, "Oh, I'm Johnny on the spot now. Now that you won, I got my running shoes on."
That's mostly on me. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Great hair.
Hey, did you notice that they tried to take his mouthpiece out, and it was already gone?
He's like, "Oh, the fight's over. We don't need it anymore." Yeah.
All right. Castilla, Carolla died in the motorcycle accident. I mean, when later, but it's kind of crazy. You guys ever see that fight?
I've seen a few. Not that. No.
That's fucking war, right?
I was thinking what you just said. That would have been ended.
That would have ended
like,
several
for sure,
times,
yeah.
but man, and he seemed okay when he was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "I'm just watching you
My
get
teeth are
40
cold.
unprotected shots." Yeah.
Yeah, MMA, you spit the mouthpiece out,
They'll
goes
pick it
back
up.
in.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them stop and wash it up, but rarely because you have the cage, so it's like a headache. You can't just go.
You gotta open the
You gotta
cage.
open the cage. It's a big deal. They
And then
don't
also, you've been rolling around in some other guy's blood from the
know.
fight before yours.
You're
Did
right.
they clean up that mat?
No, you cannot. I
No,
know.
no way.
It's absorbent. That's the thing. Is that mat?
It's a big
that
bounty
mat is
towel.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Disgusting. That's why we get tested before.
Diego Corrales died on a motorcycle accident May 7th, 2007.
The guy who won.
Yeah, 2 years
Damn.
after the Castillo fight. It was Corrales. Yeah, it's going it's just going 100 miles an hour near Vegas. Just fucking. Well, he's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Probably
He
not
is.
wearing his mouthpiece.
Yeah, definitely not.
You know what I mean?
God.
There was a kid on our team in high school, a year younger than me, Clayton Stark. He kept, there's blood time. There's if you exceed the limit of blood time, you have to forfeit.
Yes.
So he was winning, but he was on bottom, and he had to last one more minute. He was up by a lot, but the kid just kept hitting him in the nose, forearming him in the nose. And every time he's like, "Okay, I'm still gonna win." And that kid's tactic was, if I can make him bleed and exceed the
He
time,
just
he wins.
forfeit everyone.
And so Clayton Stark was so pissed. He just got up like, "Okay, I just kicked your ass for 6 minutes, and now you kept hitting me in the face, so he had to lose." And
That
green
sucks.
team tournament, that was shitty, man. That just reminded me of that.
Trying to think blood time. I think it was 3 full minutes, but it counts as they stop it.
They
and
stop everything.
They can cauterize your nose or shove
Yep.
the things in there or whatever. But
I thought it was a blaxploitation film from the 70s. Blood Time, starring
Blood
Carl
Times.
Weathers. Young Carl Weathers.
Pam Grier.
Richard Roundtree.
yes.
All
Right. Pam Grier, I would have seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Funny you brought up Pam Grier.
Oh, yeah.
She walks out right now.
Yeah,
Pam.
I always do.
No, I was literally at dinner with my son yesterday, and I said, he loves movies. So I go, I don't know why. I go, you ever see Kentucky Fried Movies by
Nice.
the Zucker Abrams guys? He's like, no, he's 18. I go, well, that was a movie they did before they did Airplane and then Naked Gun. It was a parody movie by the same guys. And then I said they would do parodies of, I said, Jackie Brown and Quentin Tarantino, and that's Pam Grier. And then she would do these movies called Cleopatra Jones in the 70s. And so they did Cleopatra Schwartz as a send-up of this thing. So I'm having this whole Pam Grier discussion with my son last night, but it wasn't Pam Grier and Cleopatra Schwartz. It was another 6-foot black chick who kicked ass. And I was this whole Pam Grier conversation. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
You wrestlers are all into Pam Grier.
Yeah, we are.
You've heard the stereotype.
You know the old.
I don't know if Dusty Rhodes has ever crossed over into Pam Grier territory. All right, let's give a plug. Nemeth Bros. It's a pod. It's out as we speak, available on Apple and Spotify as well. Any live dates coming up that we should tell people
We got
about?
one big one coming up Friday.
This Friday in Detroit at Go Comedy Improv, we're doing Hunkamania.
Shit, you just said Detroit.
Yes.
The whole reason.
The word of the day.
Oh, no.
That's where you wanted that fight to be.
This is the great magnet. Yeah, well, I was thinking about it because so there was this whole dust up where Lizzo was giving a speech endorsing Kamala Harris, and she was in Detroit, and she goes, let's turn the whole United States into Detroit. Which doesn't sound good to other folks who live in Austin.
Friday. If we can do that Friday only.
Friday only, yes.
They don't, and I was explaining to my younger girlfriend who's from Detroit, you don't get Detroit was a punchline. Like maybe it's cool now, but it's a punchline.
Yeah.
And that's when I said to my son, in the movie Kentucky Fried Movie, there's a whole Jackie Chan, a Bruce Lee send-up thing where the evil guy says, the guy's like in front of the evil, crime boss guy, and he's like, you don't scare me. I'll never talk. And he goes, take him to Detroit. And the guy goes, no. And they start trying it. I was like, that was Detroit. That's what we used to. In 1978, that was our version of Detroit. That it would have been worse than being tortured by an evil crime boss.
By the way, Kentucky Fried Movie is fantastic, and everyone needs to see it if you haven't.
Whatever happened to parody movies?
It's not just a parody; it's a parody of all of the movies, and it's great. And
It's
you get
every
some
movie.
boobies in there too. So it's
Good boobies, good big boobies, lots of humor, good boobies when we needed boobies. You know what I mean?
Different time.
We don't need them
There was
so
no
much
Wi-Fi
now.
back then. Yeah.
That's right. Simpler time.
Over the past 5 years, the most common meme or joke someone would send me was always doing that about Cleveland or Ohio. Like,
oh yes, yeah.
So it's refreshing to hear that it's another time.
It's all on some other city.
Oh yeah, we had Detroit. Who was your coach? Cincinnati. The Cincinnati coach, when everyone was like chucking snowballs,
They're throwing batteries and snowballs at him. What?
Weiss. Yeah. Sam Weiss.
Yes.
And he yelled, "You're not in Cleveland."
Yeah.
Did you say Cleveland? That's a great clip. Did you say you're not in Cleveland?
Yeah,
like he's basically knocked this shit off. You're not from Cleveland, you fucking animal. You're from Cincinnati. Now act like it. That's the slap in the face.
Oh, big time. I think that was what you were saying. The bumper sticker was like, Cleveland, we're not Detroit.
We're not.
You're like, I don't
so
know.
for anyone Detroit listening, at least you're not Cleveland. We all go through it. Everybody goes through it at some point.
Yeah, now LA is turning into the armpit of America. All right.
Builds character.
Plugs. Detroit coming up this Friday.
And not just that comedy show, we have TNA Bound for Glory, big pay-per-view on October 26th in Detroit, TNAWrestling.com. But then on the 27th, we do our wrestling, our big show to get for the next couple of weeks that we tape it to right afterwards. Detroit's a great town for sports, but for wrestling, it rocks too.
We're doing our part to enhance the reputation.
We're building character in Detroit.
You're part of the Renaissance.
Yes.
All right.
This is the catalyst.
Ryan, Nick, and Ryan, thanks for coming in Mayhem. Always fantastic. I'll be in Covina at the Laugh Factory coming up this weekend.
You sound more definitive on that because you went, I'm in Covina maybe in the last segment.
Covina! Well, I listen, I studied you guys. You're on the mic. A lot of speak with conviction.
Yes.
It's a lot of attitude.
Yes.
All right. So until next time.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for coming in, guys. This is Carolla saying mahalo.